What is going on, guys? My name is The Rose, and tonight I am recording the Game Corner Podcast episode 41. I'm going to bring on someone new who will potentially be a new co-host for this series, and that is fellow Derailed member Casey is Raw, who I have mentioned quite a few times on the show. We have some news tonight. We're going to go over our top list, top 20 platform games of all time. We're going to talk about some news regarding EA bringing 7 games to the Switch, CyberPunk 2077 getting delayed again. I'm going to talk with him about the PlayStation 5, get his thoughts on the event from last week. And we're just going to wing it and have a decent show. So, with that being said, guys, check out the description box down below for all your links that you'll need from my friend Erin Fitzgerald, voice actress, down below. My Twitch streams, Casey, I'll have his stuff in the description as well. That being said, let me see if I can get him on. Just waiting for him to answer. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. How's it been for you today?
I'm tired.
Hey, you're a little tired, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I figured we could do... What is it now? I'm going on... It's 9:45 my time, so... I figured we can go until about, 11 o'clock. Do something.
Yeah, how long we want, It's not a big deal.
Yeah, so what I thought we can do tonight... I got some news articles to talk about. As I mentioned before I called you, I'll tell you what I pulled up. We're going to talk about EA. They're bringing 7 games to the Switch. We have CyberPunk 2077 getting delayed again for the 3rd time. We have... I pulled up a top list for the top 20 best platforming video games of all time. Games like Sonic, Mario, Mega Man, stuff like that. So we could go through that list. And, I pulled up about 5 different articles.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go through them. Let me see. How many did I pull? 1, 2, 3, 4. I pulled up 4. So...
I didn't see the EA's press conference.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet either, but this news about EA comes from it, so...
I was like, you can't really tell you ever get from EA, but you said when some bunch of games go on the Switch, that does bring interest to me.
Yeah, they're bringing 7 games over, and I can tell you one of them is Apex Legends. Their free-to-play Battle Royale game from the Titanfall universe.
It's gotta be good because right now with Fortnite's just got me addicted.
So let's start with this one. Since we brought it up, EA is bringing 7 games over. This is all information has come from the EA Play Live presentation from earlier this afternoon. Let's see. It says. So they brought out Burnout Paradise from the PS3 over to the Switch. Mm-hmm. That was one of the 7. I don't know if that's available as of right now. It's actually available tomorrow, the 19th. We have Apex Legends, as I just mentioned. We have Respawn's Red Hot Battle Royale. That's the Apex Legends. That'll be launching for the Switch this fall, and it will include cross-play with other platforms, so that's pretty cool. So, what do you think of that so far?
Sounds good. Apex, I never really played it yet. Like I said, gotta be better than Fortnite to pull me off Fortnite right now.
So is there any other game any other games on the Switch you're playing right now?
Oh, you know what? Lately I just been playing my PS4 more often since I got the new PS4 recently.
All right, you said you got
But
that like a month ago or something like that.
yeah, a couple month or so ago. But as the Switch, God, I don't even remember the last game minus the Fortnite. I've been playing like crazy.
So I'm trying to find the full list because that article only listed 2 of the 7, and I guess obviously they're all mentioned obviously on the live stream. Let's see. I'm trying to find another article. Looked it up. From what I can see, I only see 2 of the 7 games listed.
I'm wondering if any of the sports games, like I think EA does Madden, right?
Yeah, EA does Madden, FIFA. I believe they do. I believe they do an NHL series too.
I know the last few years FIFA was on the Switch, so I wouldn't doubt if that's one of them. But
I'm sure it will be.
yeah,
So,
I'm shocked.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm shocked Madden never came over here. I'm not expecting it to be looking like the PS4 or Xbox One, but I mean I'm okay with a little bit watered down graphics if you can play it portably.
Right. So, have you ever played Burnout Paradise? That was the last game that they made in the Burnout series, which I thought was a fantastic game.
No, I don't think so. Don't. No, I never played that game.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good fun. You could even get it on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find this whole list. It's like, don't tease us, man. You're telling us they're bringing over 7 games, and you only tell us 2 of them.
Well, maybe they only announced 2.
So apparently, according to, I don't know how good this website is. It's called TrustedReviews.com.
I'm just see if I can find it.
Apparently, Command and Conquer Remastered is going to be one of them. I could have swore I seen something about the Sims too, which would make sense if they brought over the latest Sims game to the Switch.
God, talking about like, isn't that Command and Conquer? Is that the game that Joe's been playing lately? It's almost like Warcraft 1 and 2.
I know he's been playing a lot of Diablo. Command and Conquer is a shooter, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of Diablo 3. That game. But yeah, so don't tease us with this fucking. We're launching 7 games on the Switch throughout 2020. Like, the year's half over already, guys. And then you're only going to tell us 2 of the 7 games. That's good.
Yeah, I see the list on Nintendo Live.
Oh, you do have the list?
Well, I'm looking it up right now. Like you said, I see Apex, the same 2 games you saw.
Is there any other games on that list or no?
No.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's probably they just only announced just those 2.
Yeah, that's weird.
But it says they're bringing it out for the next 12 months, so they're probably not going to announce it just now.
So
You figure this is like E3 season.
yeah, and because E3 is canceled, so like everyone's kind of doing their own thing right now.
Yeah.
So everything's like scrambled, like EA did theirs today, PC Gamer did theirs on Saturday, PlayStation did theirs on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And then Microsoft did their like even before Sony did.
Yeah, they did theirs the beginning of May.
Yeah.
So go on.
I can't wait for Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo usually does a direct on E3.
Right? They've been so quiet with Nintendo Directs lately. I don't think we've really gotten a proper Direct since last June. Or maybe September.
Well, no, the recent it was a mini direct. It was not bad for a mini direct.
Right, but I mean like a full-fledged direct where they give us at least like 40 minutes. We haven't gotten one
Yeah,
of those in quite a while.
yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta figure it's gotta be something related to the coronavirus.
I'm
You
sure.
know, I wonder how many of these games is being stalled because of that.
Well, I'm sure that's part of the reason why CyberPunk 2077 got delayed again. Do you even have any interest in that game at all?
It looks interesting.
So
I
I,
bet money. I bet money they're gonna really wait until uh when the next gen comes out.
well, it's already said that it's coming out on PS4, and they are going to have a PS5 port.
Okay.
So it really doesn't. So it really wouldn't matter if they waited until the PS5 came out because they're going to have a PS5 version anyway. That's probably going to be a launch title for it. But
Yeah.
I have it here. It says another Cyberpunk 2077 delay has been announced. The good news is it will still be launching this year. The bad news is it will now appear on November 19th, 2020, which is another 2 months from the last delay. CD Projekt Red cited that things like balance checking and bug testing are reasons why the game will now come out later in the year. This is the second major delay. I count this as being the third, actually, I believe. Um, Initially supposed to appear back in April. That never happened, obviously. It was pushed back to September 17th, and now pushed back again until November 19th. And we have a statement. We have a statement from them. They posted basically saying the same things. It says, those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done. It's not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we will live by, even when we know we'll take we'll take the heat for it. All the same, at the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision for the game, we'd like to apologize for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did. And it is actually the letter here signed by two guys. Actually, I can't read their names. Adam Badowski, and I'm gonna say it's Marcin or Markin Iwinski. They sound like German names, I believe. So, what do you think of that? Another delay for that game there.
You know what? I'd rather it delay, even for a couple months, if they're polishing the game instead of just pushing it out and then it's going to be garbage when it comes out. I'd rather that happen, you know?
So, now, what would you think if this game came out and there were still problems with it after all these extra delays?
Oh, people would get pissed. I mean, how many times could you delay the game? I mean, well, think about it. Breath of the Wild was, I think it was supposed to come out 2015, and then it got delayed until 2016, and then it finally came out in 2017. So, but look how great that game is. I mean, it still had little bugs, but that's why you have patches.
Right.
But the game was still pretty well done. So I'm okay if it has little bugs and they patch it. But if it's something like game breaking, still, people are gonna be pissed. What do you think about that?
I think as long as the developers are actually using this time to do what they say they're doing, like making the game better, doing the bug fixings, constantly checking for more problems. And hey, they said, when it's done, it's done. They're not just gonna shovel something out there because people want it. It's something that not too many developers do, which I wish more people would actually do that.
I agree about that. Who's the makers of the game of CyberPunk?
Cyberpunk is CD Projekt Red.
Because I know Rockstar likes to do that. They like to take the time on the game, make sure it's not full of bugs before they send it out. So that's one of the big things about Rockstar.
I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red. Let me just look them up real quick to make sure I don't say the wrong thing here. I'm pretty sure they also made the Witcher games. Let me see. Here we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted.
Before you called in, I was watching a video,
Right.
and it's a guy doing a fake Nintendo Direct, and it had a bunch of games that I would love to have. I'm like, oh god, why does it gotta be fake?
Don't you hate when people do shit like that?
Yeah.
Speaking of videos, I've been watching the ones you've been putting out lately, with with the consoles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're doing pretty good with that so far.
Oh, thank you.
I was actually watching the Famicom one yesterday, and the one Transformers game that you couldn't think of the title. That was Convoy no Nazo. That was the one AVGN reviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it says Convoy of the Mystery or something.
Yeah, that's the English translation.
But I swore they said something about Optimus Prime in there too, even though he's not in the game.
No, but yeah, that's the one AVGN reviewed, a few years back.
I'm glad that game never came out. I mean, at that time, I probably loved it because it was a Transformers game. That was during my time. So, I probably would have loved it, but I probably grew up and just like, oh man, this game's garbage.
So, before we continue, I just want to say to anyone watching this that this one is more of an audio podcast right now until we work out the bugs. We get everything to the way we want it. I'm probably going to record some gameplay of whatever game I feel like playing to put over the video. So if you guys are interested in that, while you listen to us babble on here about video games, or you could just put it on in the background and do whatever while you listen to us talk and stuff like that. Once we feel more comfortable with this and we have everything for it, the way we want it to be done and stuff, I plan on taking this live and doing it at least once every 2 weeks for now. So, but this is like a pilot to see how things go with Casey and I. So, this one is more of an audio podcast. Again, I'll put some video gameplay or something in the video box here, so you can have something to look at while you listen to us talk. Or again, you can just put it on in the background and do something else.
That's what I usually do when I'm at work. I like listening to a bunch of the podcasts or streams, like from Joe or Ken or Drew, and I'll hook it up into my Milwaukee stereo so I can continue working.
So, yeah, actually, do you actually do that? Like, if you're playing a video game that you don't need to listen to the spoken dialogue or whatever, or the game doesn't have dialogue, do you put a podcast on in the background while you're playing the game too?
No, not really. The only time I would focus on something else while I'm playing, it's like if I'm playing a game and I get stuck, I was like, oh, I gotta find a walkthrough video.
Yeah, sometimes I'll put on a podcast, like Monetize This if I missed it, on Friday night. If I'm playing a game that I've played so many times, or I know, like, I don't need to follow, the dialogue or whatever, pay attention, and I could just play it, like, I'll put Monetize This or something on my phone, and I'll play the game and I'll listen to, the show at the same time. It helps me pass the time, especially if I'm playing a role-playing game, which takes a lot of grinding sometimes to get your character levels to where they need to be, or certain items that you might need, and that shit could take a while.
Yeah.
So it helps pass the time.
I tell you one thing, I love playing with my Switch. I like doing it during wrestling, especially like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. It makes it tolerable.
Oh yeah, it makes it definitely. I get your point there. I play a lot on my phone. Like there's a couple of mobile games I play on my phone.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps pass the time.
Like, even though Monday Night Raw wasn't that bad this week to me, but
I didn't get to watch all of it because I was actually, I was still on vacation that night, and we were actually ending up leaving a day early, so I had to like do laundry and stuff and make sure I was all packed up. I missed like the first hour, and then I caught bits and pieces of the last 2 hours.
It wasn't that bad for once.
But so out of the different genres of video games, what kind of video games do you prefer to play? There's a whole bunch of different ones out there.
Gosh, I mean, I like playing retro games, but lately I've been getting into more modern games. Quite frankly, like I've been love playing my PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I've seen you've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, I even recently ordered Groundhog's Day for the PlayStation VR.
What's that about?
You ever watch Groundhog's Day?
I've heard of it. I'm not a big movie guy. I'm kind of like Ray. I don't watch movies too much.
Well, it's about Bill Murray pretty much reliving the same day over and over and over, and it's Groundhog's Day, and he just learns to. For the longest time, he just keeps killing himself because, he's going to come back to life when he wakes up in the same bed. So I guess at the very end, he learns to treat people nice and learn to love and stuff like that. And this one is like his son is now doing it. So I only found it across the ocean. It's in England or in Europe, and I ordered it off Amazon, so I can't wait for that to come in.
Speaking of Amazon, I want to talk about something that they did yesterday. I don't know if you heard about this one.
Uh-oh.
Amazon France potentially leaked the release date and the price for the PlayStation 5.
I heard something like that happen. Heard about what the price was going to be. Am I right? Is it $4.99 with the physical disc for the physical version of it?
In euros, according to Amazon France, it's going to be €4.99, which equates to like $5.60 American dollars. So I'm thinking it's going to be I'm going to say around $500 to $600 for the disc version. I'm leaning towards probably in the middle, maybe $550. I'm really hoping it's $500 US dollars. I'm hoping it's not $600 like the PS3 because that was a disaster at launch.
I think they learned their lesson last time with PS3, not to price a system at $600.
And they are claiming that the digital-only PS5 will be 450 euros, which is just a little over or a little under $500 US dollars. So I'm thinking
that's not a good discount when you have a missing hard drive.
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be. People are thinking it's going to be I'm hoping it's going to be at least $100 less. Because if it's only $50 less between the two versions, that's a problem.
Yeah. The only reason I would say it'd probably be okay, let's say if the physical version has 1 terabyte, even though it should be probably more, maybe the digital one maybe has like 3 terabytes or
Well,
memory, you know?
well, you figure if a digital-only console, you would think would need more space, because at
Hmm.
least with the physical one, you could have the data on the disc, and still require the patch updates like what they do now.
Yeah.
But if it's only 1 terabyte for a all-digital console, I think that's going to be a problem. People are
I
not
agree.
going to be happy about it, especially if it's $500. So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be anywhere between 400 to 500 for the disc for the digital only one, and anywhere between 500 to 600 for the physical physical one with the disc drive.
Hmm.
And according to Amazon France, they leaked the release date as November 20th, which is, I believe, I want to say it's a Saturday this year, which doesn't make sense because games and consoles either come out on a Tuesday or a Friday.
Yeah, I agree about that time frame.
Yeah,
Um,
yep. November 20th is a Saturday, so I
why
think they're
would
going to
you
be a
want
day off. I think it's going to come out on the 19th, if that rumor is right.
why would you want to do it like right before Thanksgiving? Wouldn't you want to do it just a little bit before? I know most systems come out in November, but I mean, to me, I'm like that makes no sense because you're not gonna have a discount price on it at that time. I mean, these are gonna be brand new, full price.
Right. Even on Black Friday, you might see
Yeah.
maybe a $50 discount only on the bundle versions that'll come with a game, or a game and an accessory or something like that. But you ain't getting no discounts right away because
No.
PS4 and the Xbox One came out right before Thanksgiving. The Xbox One actually came out 2 days before Thanksgiving, if you remember, in
Yeah.
2013. So it's not impractical, but the 20th of November is a Saturday. Games and game consoles never release on a Saturday, so if that leak is true, I think they're one day off. I think it'll release on the 19th of
I agree.
November, which
I
is
agree.
also the day that CyberPunk is also now going to release. So it would make sense.
That's a good point. I mean, like we were talking about, I mean, we know this is going to be cross gen. I mean, it's going to be on current gen and it's going to be on next gen with Cyberpunk. So, I mean, how much longer do you think games are going to be made for the play PS4 and Xbox One?
Well, with Xbox, they did already say that they're going to have a lot of their games that are going to be Xbox Series X games. Also
Hmm.
have Xbox One downgraded versions for, I think, at least a year after the new consoles come out, because they know, a new console comes out, they know everybody that wants it can't just jump on it immediately. So we're going to see downgraded versions of the new Halo game, and
Oh.
if there's a new Forza, which I'm predicting there's going to be at least one new Forza racing game for the new console, there's going to be a downgraded version of that as well. Because if you remember, in the Xbox showcase they did in May, they
Hmm.
said games optimized for the Xbox Series X, but they were all Xbox One games that they showed. And with the PS5, they didn't pull any of that crap. They showed all games that are going to be next gen. So while there are going to be some games, releasing on PS4 after the new one comes out, it's going
Hmm.
to be not that many, and it's going to get phased out.
Oh yeah.
I think pretty quickly. Like, for the first year, I think, like the new sports games, they'll come out on both. The new wrestling games will come
Yeah.
out on both. But I
Yeah.
think the big titles like the new Gran Turismo, that's going to be PS5 only. The new Spider-Man is going to be PS5 only. I think the new Resident Evil will be PS5 only, and the new Xbox. I don't think you'll see downgraded versions of those. Because, at the same time, they don't want to release everything with a downgraded port, because then there's no real reason besides better graphics, to jump on the new console.
That's a very good point. I mean, I can see both ways. I mean, like you need something that's gonna hook you onto the next system. But let's say you have over 100 million people has the PlayStation 4 right now, and you don't even know how many people has Xbox. Let's give them a bit.
Hold on a second, Casey. I pulled out my headphone. Oh, there we go. I got you again. Go ahead. I can hear you now.
But like I was saying, we don't know how many people has the Xbox One. We know there's over 100 million people has PS4s, and let's be generous. We hadn't heard anything for like the last few years how many Xbox sold, but it was in the 30s. So let's upgrade it to maybe 50 million.
I'll look it up right now. I'll tell you how many Xbox One consoles sold. Console sales to date. Let's see exactly how many consoles are out there. So according to this, as of, let me see, Xbox, no, not Xbox. I did say Xbox One, right? Yes, I did. Xbox One console sales to date. Xbox One. This might tell me here.
I know Microsoft stopped telling them because how crazy the PlayStation was kicking their ass.
Sound. Trying to find how many they sold. Game Pass, blah blah blah. Eternals. Let me see. Still trying to find it. Here we. Okay, so as of last year, January of last year, it hit 41 million. So I think it's safe to say you estimated like 50 million.
Yeah, that was close.
So I think that's I think that's a good I think that's a fair estimate.
Yeah, well, you know what? The last time I heard, I think they had 35 million, and that was a few years ago. That they didn't sell a lot in the last few years. I mean, sell 6 more million in the last few years? That's not that good. I mean, shit, the Dreamcast did that way better than that in that time frame. I'm talking about between 35 million to 41. Dreamcast sold like over 12 or 15 million in that time frame.
Okay, I actually have the more realistic numbers. Now, because June isn't over yet, the total sales as of May 2020 for the Xbox One globally across the entire planet, 47.77 million units. So it's close to 50 million. So you're pretty good on that estimate.
All right, but I'm thinking with 150 million people has the current gen, they still need to pump out some of these games like you're saying about Halo coming out. I got a bad feeling that is not coming on the Xbox One. I think that's going to be exclusive on the next Xbox.
Well, I mean, they did say they're going to make games downgraded versions, so
I mean, I'll be down with that. I mean, like you say, I mean, I'm not gonna be rushing to get these systems immediately.
I mean, I'm gonna try to get the PS5 immediately. But that's just me.
I think you and me want the same thing. Like, you want the physical version, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. But don't you think they should still carry some big titles for the next couple years, be on both gens?
Yeah, well, I know that they're going to do that for sure. But there's also going to be a few, there's going to be some that they're going to leave. They're going to leave on the new consoles because, they're going to want system sellers.
Yeah. They need something to set that hook. So
maybe they do have the new Halo exclusive to the new console, but I think they're gonna do. And I think they're going to do a downgraded version of it. I think you're going to see a downgraded version of it.
I'll be okay with that. But I think that would be a big hook for them to have it for the next Xbox, for the Series X. But, I mean, for me, that'd be cool to have it. I mean, I love my Halos.
Yeah, I'm not like a big fan of Halo. Like if somebody has it, and I'm at their house and they want to, they want me to play, I'll play it. But like, it's just not a game I see myself playing. Like going out to buy and play it.
Mm-hmm. I finished Halo 3 and 4. I didn't do a lot on Halo 5. I should go back and play a little bit more of Halo 5. I mean, I really love 1 and 2 the best,
Right.
But, I'm hoping we'll be getting a Nintendo Direct very soon.
I'm hoping so too, man. We need it. It's like way too long without it.
I mean, like, there's still some easy games they can make. I'm hearing rumors before the whole coronavirus happened that we were going to get some of these 3D Mario games remastered, like Mario 64,
Right.
Sunshine, the Galaxy games.
Yeah, I heard that rumor as well. I think that's bullshit, but I could definitely see if they do any of those. I could see them doing Sunshine, and I could see them doing 3D World. I think 3D World is the most likely of all of them.
That'd be a lot easier because, I mean, there's almost not too much difference between the Wii U and the Switch.
Right.
I mean, so it should be really easy for them to port 3D World over to the Switch. And I'm kind of hoping to get Pikmin 3 coming over as well.
So, well, that one's, I believe, has been confirmed. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Pikmin 3 Switch. I want to say that one's been confirmed.
I hope that's true. I know there's been rumors about Pikmin 4 for the longest time. It's been 5 years since they're like, oh, we're near completion, but we hadn't heard jack shit since then.
Yeah, so apparently Pikmin 3, there's rumors about a deluxe edition that started up in May, the middle of May. So it hasn't, I don't think it's been totally confirmed yet, because all I see here is rumors, but it looks like it's going to happen.
I would love if that happens. That was the first Pikmin game I played, and I fell in love with it, man.
So, last week with the PS5 event, did you get to watch the event, or did you get to see like any of the game trailers they showed and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What did you think of what they showed? Like, what are you most interested in from what they showed?
The two biggest ones I'm interested in is the Spider-Man with Miles Morales, and also the new Horizon game, Horizon 2.
Oh, Forbidden West.
Yeah, I really like that. There was a few good games that looked pretty interesting. I thought it was, for Sony, it was a really good presentation.
I think they definitely kicked Xbox's ass, that's for sure, with the presentations. And I'm not one to start console wars because I eventually, within the same console generation, get all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't look at it as one is better than the other, but I will have my pick of what I prefer to have, in the beginning. But so. What about, did you see the Godfall trailer? What did you think of that one? That was, that one is action RPG. It's kind of gives me a little bit of the Final Fantasy VII Remake vibe, because it's in the same style. And you could use like a multitude of weapons in that game. It looked really fun.
You know what? I went blank on that one.
That one, I believe, is going to be a launch title. I think it's supposed to be a launch title. With that one and Spider-Man, I believe, are the launch titles. At least that we know of right now.
What do you think about GTA 5 being ported over to another system?
I think they just need to not do that, and they should just fucking make GTA 6 already. GTA 5 has been out since, what, 2012? On the PS3 and 360?
Yeah, or at least, 2012, maybe even 2013. I mean, yeah, like you said, it was on the PS3 and the 360. I had it on the 360. That's the one I played the most on.
I mean, think about it. If this game is on life support now, I think, and if you haven't played it by now, I don't think you want to. There's no reason, if you bought it on the PS3 and then you bought it on the PS4 or the 360 and then the Xbox One, fine, because you're upgrading consoles. And the game also was only out for maybe a year at that point, or less than a year at that point. But now it's 7 years later since PS3 and the Xbox One came out, almost 7 years. By the time the new ones come out, it will be 7 years. There's no reason to port that game over again. None.
I agree. To me, it's like you said, I mean, how much more difference is it going to be between this gen and next gen? It looks a little bit more nicer. I mean, I don't need it to be a little bit nicer for buying the same game again.
All they're going to do is make the graphics look better. They're going to upscale it, make things, the textures look more smooth. And they're not going to add anything new. Everything that's in the game now is what's going to come out with it.
Okay. What about this? Let's say this is not a full game price. It's not $60. Let's say it's like $30. Would you think that'd be okay?
Put it this way. I think they wouldn't be... I don't think they should be able to get away with selling it for more than $30.
I agree. I mean... Shoot, right now you can go to Walmart. I think you can buy it for $25 for the PS4 and Xbox One. Maybe even $20.
I'll do you one better. Let's see how much GameStop's selling it for.
GameStop gets a bad rap. I get some decent game prices on their games.
Here you go, right now. Grand Theft Auto 5 Platinum Edition. Brand new is $20.
So I was pretty much almost on the money. So
you might as well buy it new from GameStop because pre-owned is only $2 less. So, yeah, $20. So there you go. And I could see them selling it for $30 new because they're gonna put that effort in there to upscale the graphics, make the frame rates smoother, make the textures and everything look smoother. Fine, but they should just not do it anyway. The game's run its course.
Do you think is 30 the top, or you think 40 is the top price?
I have a feeling they'll sell it for 40, and I don't agree with that.
I mean, some people do it. I'm in the camp. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not gonna do it. Not at all.
And I think this is probably what's gonna burn them, that they're porting this over again instead of... I know a bunch of people was bummed when they were going to announce the PS5. The first game was GTA 5. Like, they should have just said show clips and then, oh yeah, we had some updates for the next for the GTA 5, but we are coming out with GTA 6.
The only thing I've heard on GTA 6 is that Rockstar thinks GTA 6 will be available before the year 2023, which is still 2.5 years away.
So GTA 5 is going to be a 10-year game.
Pretty much. And there's no need for that.
Do you remember back when Destiny 1, I don't know I heard this correctly, but they said that was supposed to be a 10-year game. But it didn't even last a few years when they had Destiny 2 came out.
Destiny 2 came out 2018, right?
I think so. Around there,
2018.
maybe in 2017, maybe.
Let me see. Destiny 2. We're winging it, folks. You know, we didn't plan to look some of this stuff up on the fly. Let's see. Destiny 2. Come on, you bastard. Here we go. Destiny 2 release date. Oh, that's good. They're porting that over to the new consoles too, apparently.
What? Oh, I'm not shocked.
Yeah, it's according to Wikipedia, which, you know, isn't exactly a trusted source, but I don't see any reason not to believe it. It's got the PS5 and the Series X listed. Came out on September 6th, 2017. And the first one, I believe, came out in 2014, I want to say.
Yeah, but did you hear about it? I don't know if I misheard it from somewhere, but I swear I heard that was supposed to be a 10-year game. Like, they were supposed to support it for the next 10 years.
Maybe as a franchise, I don't think as a single game. Which means they might have a Destiny 3 coming out, and that'll probably, like, as a trilogy, maybe cap off the series, you know, at the 10-year mark. Yeah. I could see them doing that, but supporting one game for 10 years, that's unheard of. So we got a little bit more news. We got a couple more things to talk about here. So, Crash Bandicoot. Activision reportedly teasing a new Crash Bandicoot game by releasing puzzles and merchandise with Crash Bandicoot imagery on it. So this apparently came out early in June, which is now, I guess this came out like last week and it's finally been picked up on. Activision has sent out Crash Bandicoot themed jigsaw puzzle to some press. IGN discovered this. Here's the puzzle. With the puzzle here, it has a picture on here. It says puzzle teaser. As mentioned before, on June 10th, a number of pieces of Crash Bandicoot merchandise appeared on the European storefront Blackfire. It had new character designs for both Crash and Coco on keychains, hats, mugs, pins, and other accessories. There are also new figures that had him posed and taking a selfie. Wario64 on Twitter, I'm sure you heard of him, big gamer on YouTube, posted the pictures of everything. Keychains, the little figures, hats, stuff like that. So, we don't know if this is a game. Some people are saying it's going to be a game. While the only original and totally new Crash Bandicoot game as of late was Crash Bandicoot Mobile, which is an endless runner on Android and iPhone. Apparently they're saying that this is a teaser for a new game. I just don't see it.
I mean, I'd be down for another Crash Bandicoot game. I mean, when was an actual game, not a mobile game? When was? What you said, like during the PS1 or 2, when we had Crash Bandicoot came out?
Well, they released the remastered versions of the original trilogy in 2018, and then last year it hit the Switch.
Yeah, minus those two because I mean, like you said, those are remasters. I'm talking about. I mean, they hadn't had anything brand new though. You know,
not since I think 2005, and those games weren't all that great. I'm looking at this trailer here, and I can't put it on screen because I don't want to get hit by the copyright monster.
Oh no, you don't want to take a chance.
But I don't see how this could be people thinking that this is a new game. I don't see it. It would be amazing if it was, because I love me some Crash. But I'm pretty sure the last proper Crash Bandicoot game came out, I want to say 2005, because I think it was on the 360.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Mind Over Mutant. Let me see. Crash Bandicoot, Wikipedia, okay. So it looks like Crash of the Titans came out. Then they had Crash Tag Team Racing. That was between 2007 and 2010. So those were the last ones before the remasters. So yeah, I would say between 2007 and 2010.
Well, I'm on IGN right now. I happened to come across where they were talking about the 7 EA games, and they still only had the same 2 games. So I'm wondering they're just holding out. They say we got 7 games coming out,
but we're only going to tell you 2 of them.
That's right.
I plan to look at the EA Play thing later on, maybe tomorrow. So maybe they had announced all 7 games on there, but probably not.
I mean, why would they only, like every other website only says the same thing, Apex Legends and Burnout Paradise.
Right, yeah. And apparently Command and Conquer from that one website, which I never even heard of, trustedreviews.com. So, on another somewhat related piece of Crash Bandicoot news, you're familiar with The Last of Us 2, right? That game that's coming out tomorrow? Or on, it's supposed to be the 21st, but that's a Sunday. I don't know why a game would come out on a Sunday. But you are familiar with the release of Last of Us 2, right?
I heard of it coming out. I mean, I have the remaster of the first one. I need to get to play it. So, I'll wait until play the first one before I buy the second one.
So I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler territory here, so skip ahead a minute or two if you don't want to hear this little spoiler. It's nothing really a big spoiler to the game's story, but if you want to find this on your own, don't hear it from me. But after you were DMing me this morning, Casey, I crashed into a tweet by another YouTuber on Twitter who revealed that there is a porno tape with a Crash Bandicoot reference that you can find inside The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my god, are you serious?
A lot of people, oh man, the fucking Twitter, the Twitter comment section was just gold on that post, and I couldn't believe it. And now you don't actually get to watch this thing, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
But it's a Crash Bandicoot reference because the name of the porno tape you can find is called Smash Brandy's Cooch.
Oh my god.
Apparently you can find it pretty early on in the game too, because they released a demo that a lot of the games journalists and the really big YouTubers got to play before the game came out, to do their reviews and shit, to help hype up the game to try to drive sales for it. And I read that this morning on Twitter. I'm like, no fucking way. I gotta look this shit up. Then I made the mistake of looking up The Last of Us 2 porn, because I'm trying to find this article to see if I could find it out. And let's just say I came across some stuff I didn't exactly want to see. But I eventually did find an article that mentioned that that Crash Bandicoot porn reference. So it is true. Of course, I had to sift through a bunch of 3D and animated Last of Us porn to find it. So don't look that up, whatever you do. Just take my word for it. It doesn't. It does exist. The reference tape is real. It is in the game. You can find it within the first couple hours of playing it when it comes out. But like I said, you don't get to watch it, and that's probably for the best. But I just couldn't believe it when I fucking heard about that.
Oh, is it like written on, is that VHS tape or?
It's a
like
VHS. Yeah, it's a VHS tape.
Yeah.
You know the front label on the side of the cassette where the space is where you can write the name of it on the front label. It says "Smash Brandy's Cooch" right on it. So, yeah, I couldn't believe that, but it's real. Take my word for it.
I mean, at least that's a lot better than what I believe I remember back in the what was it, GTA San Andreas?
The hot coffee mod.
Yeah, where I think it was where they had the glitch where the sex scene.
Or how about the porno that somebody made of Super Mario and they called it the Super Hornio Brothers? Nintendo got so fucking pissed that they actually bought the rights to it so nobody can get their hands on it ever again.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Oh my god.
That's something, right? So,
I got an idea. Let's want to talk about how Sega is coming out with the Game Gear Mini or Game Gear Micro.
Yeah, I actually want to get your opinions on that, but we got one more thing to go over real quick. There's an Expo, another digital online showcase for a bunch of games happening next Tuesday on the 23rd called the New Games Plus Expo. Have you heard of it?
No.
It starts at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's a 7-hour live stream with a bunch of different developers and publishers. They're going to be showing off a bunch of games.
Is it more like for indie people?
No.
Like indie?
No, Sega's going to be there. Way Forward, the people who make the Shantae games, they're going to be there. SNK is going to be there.
Way Forward, really good company too. I like their games.
You know, I'm sure you've heard of Natsume Inc. They've made a lot of games back in the day. They're going to be there. There's 16 creators that are going to be there. Now, if you don't play like anime style games like I do, some of them you won't know who they are. But yeah, the Sega's going to be there. You obviously know who they are. Way Forward, SNK, those guys, you know who they are. They're going to be there.
Yeah.
So I have the whole schedule. The whole schedule is actually written out. There's going to be some developers are going to have a 30-minute showcase. Some will have a 60-minute showcase. And it's supposed to be 7 hours.
God dang.
But it looks like it's going to stop at 3:30. Oh, I see what they're going to do. Okay. So, it starts at 12 p.m. Eastern with a group called Inti Creates. I'm trying to think of what they made. I heard of their name came up recently, and I don't remember what they made. So that's going to be from 12 p.m. Eastern to 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Natsume Incorporated, and I was just playing an NES game on the Switch Virtual Console yesterday. What the hell is it? Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. What the fuck was the name of it? Oh my god, it's gonna irritate the shit out of me. But it was like a kind of it gave me those old school Ninja Gaiden vibes, but it wasn't. It's not Ninja Gaiden, but it's like another ninja game.
I think is it? Didn't they release that recently? I think I know you're talking about.
Yeah, they released it recently on the Switch Virtual Console. For no reason, last night I just fired it up for like a half an hour to see what it was about because I never played it. Pretty good game, hard as shit, but pretty good.
I think I know you're talking about it. It really is a good game.
But yeah, so Natsume is going to be 12:30 Eastern to 1 p.m. Then we're going to have Sega with Atlas Corporation because they own Atlas. I don't know if you're familiar with the Persona series and the Shin Megami Tensei games, but those are games Atlas is very big on.
Nah.
Sega's also going to be there, so maybe we're going to get a Sonic the Hedgehog something. They're going to be on from 1 p.m. Eastern to 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Then there's another group called PM Studios. They'll be on from 1:30 p.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. Idea Factory International, they're big on anime, JRPGs, games I play. 2 p.m. Eastern Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so they're going to get an hour. Gung Ho America, I'm not too familiar with them, but I have heard of their name in the past. They're going to get an hour as well. They're going to go from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. NIS America Incorporated, another group that I'm very familiar with JRPG anime style games. They're going to get an hour as well, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we're going to get Way Forward, the Shantae creators, who they've just released Shantae and the Seven Sirens back in the middle of May last month. They're going to get an hour from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. SNK will get a half an hour from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the last showcase will be by a group called Playism. They will get the last showcase from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
God, I don't even know if I can sit down for 7 hours. I mean, I love sitting watching these presentations, especially like the big ones like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. I mean, I still would watch the ones like from EA and trying to think of who else. Maybe I don't think Sega does much. I think a lot of times Sega comes on with like Nintendo's like, hey, we're having this one coming out too. They don't really have their own presentation.
No, because now they're a third-party developer. If they were still in the console race, they probably would.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep an eye on this on Tuesday. I was originally going to cover it, like, from start to finish, but that's too fucking long.
Yeah, that is.
And not to mention, I actually have to go somewhere at 6 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday, so I'm going to miss the last hour, as it is. So I'm going to have to go, and catch up, what I miss. And I'm going to talk about the stuff that I like, some stuff that I don't care for and whatnot. I don't know if you're available on Tuesday. Maybe we could do something together on that.
Yeah,
if you get a chance,
fine.
If you get a chance to watch any of this.
I'll try
throughout the day.
I'll see if I put on YouTube. A lot of times if you don't watch these presentations live, they're like leaked immediately on YouTube.
Oh yeah, because other journalists like GameSpot, GameSpot, Game Explain, Game Trailers, they still have their YouTube channel even though they shut down their website. They still cover this stuff, and then other big streamers like Vinesauce. I don't know if you know who they are. I love Vinesauce personally.
No.
A lot of other streamers will cover it, and they'll do their live reactions and stuff. So this stuff isn't always that hard to find.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's kind of weird how we can't find about these EA games for the Switch.
Right.
That came in. So that's what shocks me.
Well, I mean, maybe those 2 games are all that they revealed. That could be they're just saying 7 games, but they only showed 2. So that's probably the situation. But this event, the NGPX, as it's being labeled in its acronym form, it's only going to be available on Twitch. So you'll have to go to Twitch to watch it. I'm actually going to follow the Twitch page right now so I'll know when they go live. The name of the Switch page is New Game Plus Expo. Spelled out, all one word. And I'll put the link in the description box down below so you can follow them. For anybody who can follow them so they know when the stream starts in their time zone. I'm looking forward to this, but it is pretty long. It's pretty long.
Yeah, 7 hours on that show is way too long to sit down and watch that. I mean,
I think they should
you
have
know,
broke it up across a couple of days.
oh, I totally agree.
At least
I
2 days, 2 or 3 days.
I
For
agree.
them to do something this big, because even E3 isn't one day long. E3 is at
Oh,
least 3 to 4 days long.
exactly. I mean,
But
even if the convention or whatever it's called, is it could be 2 3 days long, but a lot of times they'll have other announcements outside of E3.
and we all know why E3 is not happening this year, because of the virus and because of that big fucking that big doxing scandal that E3 did last year. Have you heard about that one?
Yes, I heard. It wasn't about a bunch of YouTubers got DOSed.
There was a lot of the games journalists that go there to do reports on stuff. A
Yeah.
lot of people that bought tickets to the event had their email addresses and their names and stuff doxed, which really sucks. Um, so yeah, that's what happened, and a lot of people pulled out of it. Sony hasn't been a part of it for 2 years now, so it is what it is. And then the virus came and just put the nail in the coffin for it this year.
I mean, E3's been dying for the last few years. I mean, I think wasn't EA the first one to really pulled out and say we're having our own convention in our site. I mean, it's close by E3, but it's in another site.
Sony was actually first to do it, and then EA pulled out themselves.
Yeah.
But what they did was they still mooched off of E3 because they
Oh
were the
yeah.
first ones to go on during the press conference weekend.
I mean, I think they should utilize this. I mean, they kind of are still with the. I mean, people mostly knows a bunch of this by watching the press conference. I mean, eventually, this is what it's going to be. This, anyways. I mean, it's all going to be shown on the internet. I mean, maybe we should just take this as an example. Maybe this is going to be what's the future's going to look like.
Now, I want to bring up this tweet. We covered all the news now, so there's no more news. I want to bring up this tweet that I talked about. I retweeted on Monday, and you commented on it. I'm going to put the image on screen here because there are a lot of games. So I'm going to put the image on screen so you guys can see it. Just give me a moment. Let me get that up there. You remember what it was, right, Casey? It said to pick. You can only pick 3 games.
Oh yeah. Now I remember.
Yeah, so I got it. I put it up here on screen. I'll refresh your memory for all of them since you can't see it right now. It's Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, F-Zero, Ratchet and Clank, Final Fantasy, Street Fighter, Crash Bandicoot, Kingdom Hearts, Fallout, Spyro, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Jak and Daxter, Golden Sun, Mega Man, Zelda, Kirby, Animal Crossing, Donkey Kong, Sly Cooper, Silent Hill, Gears of War, Metal Gear, Monster Hunter, Grand Theft Auto, Dark Souls, Doom, Bioshock, Devil May Cry, Castlevania, Halo, Uncharted, God of War, Persona, which is a series you said you're not familiar with, Xenoblade Chronicles, which is another one I'm sure you're not familiar with,
I would like to give it a shot.
Pikmin, Advance Wars, Fire Emblem, Metroid, and Pokemon. So those are all your choices.
I remember my 3, but want to go with your 3?
Well,
No.
one of my 3 is the same as yours. So, you picked Mario, Zelda, and Pikmin.
I'd like to change my 3rd one to
Okay.
Sonic. I'm kind of on the edge. I kind of like Sonic, Pikmin, and Doom. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, I love the old school Sonics. I only really played Pikmin 3 and 2 a little bit, but I love Pikmin 3 so much that it's already up there for me. And Doom, shit, I played that during the PC days,
Way back in the
early
90s,
PC.
right?
So, so hard. Mario and Zelda's is no doubt. I mean, they're definitely. I mean, they're almost 1 and 2, like right there. But if I had to, if you had to put a gun to my head and choose one immediately for third, I would say probably Sonic.
So you're going to
Because
change Pikmin to Sonic, okay.
yeah.
So what was the last Sonic game you would say you played? Have you played Sonic Mania at all?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The one thing that upset me, it came out digital first, and then like a year later they came out with physical copy.
Right, with the Sonic Mania Plus edition, which I actually double dipped and bought both.
I tried. You know what? I triple dipped on that. You know what I did?
What did you do?
I bought it digitally when it first came out, and then I moved from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma, and one of the stores called Vintage Stock had the collector edition, and I was like, and it's been sitting there. I was like, God, I want that. And then I eventually pulled the trigger and got it, and I didn't need the. It came with no game. It had a digital download in there, so I gave that to someone else because I didn't need it.
Right.
And then when it came out for the physical, I had to get it physical. So I triple dipped.
So that's kind of what I did. Only I double dipped. I didn't buy it 3 times, but I got the $70 collector's edition when it came out digitally on the PS4. Which came with the Sonic statue standing on the replica Sega Genesis, and it came with the Sonic ring with the retro style cartridge that housed the ring. Now mine didn't come with instructions, so I didn't know that the statue actually made noise. It didn't tell me to put batteries in it, so I had no idea. So I got that one, and then the year later, when Mania Plus came out, when they released the physical version with the $30 for $30, you got the game in the physical case with the reversible cover that said Sega Genesis on it, and it was pretty cool. And what came with that 30-page art book. So I bought that one on the Switch. This way, I can play it on the go too.
Yeah, I have all 3 versions on the Switch.
So, I bought it on the PS4 because PlayStation, if I'm going to play a game and it's multi-platform, I'm going to want to play it first on PlayStation. And then because of the Switch's portability, if I buy the same game again, I'm going to buy it on the Switch.
I agree. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, God, there's some games like, I got Mortal Kombat 11, on the Switch. I mean, it's good, but when you're about to fight, you can see it go from looking really awesome down to it kind of looks grainy when you're about to fight.
Yeah, they said they downgraded the graphics for that one so they can keep the 60 frames per second aspect of it, so that you don't lose frames when you're playing.
It's still good, but I enjoyed it though. But
I bought the $300 collector's edition with the Scorpion helmet. I was kind of upset about that because I thought the helmet was going to be more than what it actually was. But yeah, I bought the $300 one. I was a sucker, and I would say I got burned on that one. But so Zelda and Mario were your first 2 choices. So what's your favorite game in those 2 series?
I would say Mario 3's Mario series is probably my favorite. And it's so hard. There's so much great Mario games. I mean, there's only 2 I'm not too crazy about. One of them is Sunshine.
I agree with you on that one.
I got hate for that I think it was on Ken's show. And because I don't like the controller, I'm not a big fan of Mario 64. But
Oh.
I'm thinking if that comes over to the Switch, that'd probably make a big difference because you don't have the 3-prong controller no more.
Now let me ask you a question. When Super Mario 64 came to the DS, did you ever play that version?
No, I mean, I only played the DS for a little bit. I used to take the DS with me to work, but ever since the Switch came out, it trumps it.
Oh yeah, well absolutely, yeah, absolutely. The Switch killed
Yeah.
the 3DS.
Yeah.
But so I agree with you on Super Mario
I
Sunshine.
should try it. I should try it though. I do want to try it, but currently my mom is playing my 2DS, and like, you know what? She wants to have fun. Go ahead and you can play it. The only portable one I really like is the Switch.
Yeah. So when it comes to Mario, I agree with you on that one.
Mhm.
Super Mario Sunshine, out of the 3D Mario's that I played, was probably my least favorite.
Mm.
Super Mario 64 I thought was pretty fun back in the day. The controller, whatever you want to call it, there is a name for that controller. I can't think of it at the moment, but that controller was not good for a game like that.
I agree. I actually got the box. And let's see what it says. I got the box for the controller, for the 64 controller. Oh, my legs. I'm getting too old for this shit. All it says is Nintendo 64 gray controller. I don't see anything different, special name for it.
As I know the gaming community gave it like some kind of name, and that's what a lot of people call it now. But I can't think of it right now. But yeah, the controller just wasn't good for most games on the 64. They did try to retcon it, remember, with that secondary N64 design, which was probably a little better, but the button placement on that one was just really not good.
Yeah.
Now, for me, okay, so, well, you didn't talk about Zelda. What was your favorite Zelda game?
I would say it's a toss up between the original and Breath of the Wild. I mean, I beat Breath of the Wild, but there should be no reason why I did never beat Zelda, the first one. But I'm always, during that time frame when I was a kid, I had a bunch of NES games, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this game. I'm going to play this game. I really didn't have a long attention span to try to finish games back then. So I wish I had finished one.
So, I'm not really a Zelda fan. I don't dislike the series. It's just the series I never got into. Like, I did play the ones on the NES. Back in the day, I did play Link to the Past. I believe that's the one on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I did play that one a little bit. I never finished a Zelda game other than Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U and Switch. That's the only Zelda game, and I know that's not a traditional Zelda game, but it's the only one technically in that series that I did finish.
It's a good game though. I mean, Hyrule Warriors is good. I liked it. I have that on the Wii U as well. I should get it for the Switch.
That's another one I double dipped on. Well, technically I didn't, but I bought the Wii U version and I got the Switch version for Christmas. The year it came out.
Did you play Breath of the Wild?
No. I haven't played a proper Zelda game since probably one of the Game Boy ones, and I can't remember which one it was.
I highly suggest Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year for 2017.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't dislike the series. I don't know, just something about it I can't get into. But I do like Link. You know, he's my main in Smash. So I do play Zelda in some aspect.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's one game I'm not too crazy about is Smash Brothers, so we could trade off. I mean, but
It seems like you're not too big into fighting games. Am I correct on that assumption?
yeah, I mean, uh, you could say that. I mean, I was just never really good. I mean, I love like Mortal Kombat's and Street Fighters, but like there's so many people who are like good at them. It kind of makes me feel like no point about trying to get good because you go against someone who's just gonna kick your ass.
So pretty much, if I played you in Mortal Kombat, I'd probably fucking destroy you. Is what you're telling me?
Probably.
I mean,
Well,
I wouldn't say I'm a tryhard in Mortal Kombat, but that's actually where I got my Rose name from.
yeah.
Never, it's a story I've told quite a few times over the years, but obviously you've never heard it before. So I'll just go over the story really quickly. Mortal Kombat 9, 2011, PS3 version. I played it online quite a bit, and I was pretty good online. I was beatable, but I didn't lose very often. And people just got, I guess, tired of playing against me because I didn't lose very often.
Yeah.
I had to stop playing. Like, they actually made me stop playing because nobody would accept my challenges anymore. And people, because my PlayStation name is Savior Rose Dragon, which is a play on a fan-made Yu-Gi-Oh card, which I was hoping it would have been a real card, and it wasn't. So I made that my PlayStation name, and some people took Rose off my name, and they kind of like spoofed the Rock's name, and they called me the Rose.
Yeah.
And like when I would come into a lobby, some people were like, "Shit, Rose is here," and then some people would dip out of the lobbies and shit, and
Oh yeah.
people wouldn't accept my challenges anymore, and I'm like, "Fuck this," and I just stopped playing online. I finished when I stopped playing. I was 161 and 12. Only lost 12 times in like a time span of 2 months
God.
before I had to quit playing. And then Mortal Kombat X came around. I'm like, you know what? I actually want to have fun with this one online, so I'm not going to be as try-hard. So, like, I would lose, I would let myself lose a few games so I could enjoy it more. But I would still want to get my fair share of wins, and I did. And now Mortal Kombat 11 is out, and I just decided that I just wanted to go back to being that ass kicker that some people knew me for and gave me my name that I go by now. And I have come up with combo strings in Mortal Kombat 11 that are like 18, 19, 20 hits, and they could do quite a bit of damage in a single go. It's pretty fun.
I can't do that.
It's pretty fun. I actually wrote some of my combo strings. Actually, if I could find one of them, I'll show it to you in Skype chat. And you're probably gonna you're gonna think it's like Greek to you because you're probably not gonna understand it. But I wrote it out. Let me see if I could find it. It was quite a while. Let me see. I should be able to find. Oh, okay. Here's a couple of them here. Okay, so I'll just give you the link to the tweet. And there's if you click on the images, you can see them here. I wrote them out. This one's for Noob Saibot, and the other one's for Raiden. So you could look at these real quick. And so what I did was I wrote them out the buttons that you would press, like forward, back, forward, square, like square, square, triangle, and then plus back, forward, square, like you do a special move, chain it in, and then you do like back, square, R1, shit like that.
That's old school right there when you write it down.
Yeah, that's only 2 of them. I actually wrote out combos for 4 characters so far.
Yeah, I can't even do that at all.
If you were to go into practice mode and you try to hit this combo, how long do you think it would take?
The time limit would expire.
So yes, I did the one for Noob, and then the other one's Raiden that I showed you, and then I have a couple more. One is Sub-Zero. I posted on Twitter. One is Scorpion. I posted on Twitter, and another one for the Collector. I posted on Twitter. So if anybody listening to this wants to go back to my Twitter account, check my Twitter, scroll all the way down to May 2nd. That's when I started posting them. So you can check those out yourself. But
I think I remember those too.
I think you might have commented on one of them. I don't remember. But yeah. So and then when Fujin came out, he's just disgustingly good. And I just haven't sat down to write out combo chains for him yet. But that's something I actually want to do in the near future. Because Fujin is really good. I don't know if you bought the DLC. The Aftermath DLC with the extra 3 characters and the extra story mode.
I know I got it with Arnold. So isn't Arnold just separate? Like
the first character pack, you could either buy it, or if you did what I did and you'd get it with the game, or you buy the premium edition, you get it with the game. Then you get all of the 6 first characters, or you can buy each character separately. Which they did announce the 3 new characters. You don't have to buy the extra story mode DLC. You could buy them separately now too.
And I believe it was one of them RoboCop.
Yes.
I can understand some of these games. Like I can understand Spawn.
He's fun to play too.
But as Arnold as the Terminator and and RoboCop. I mean, come on, those are not even close to being the same genre.
Well, they're guest characters. They're all owned by what you call it? WB, Warner Bros.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they're in there. But yeah, so going back to this tweet, since we kind of segued off a little bit, my top 3 picks, I picked Mario, Mortal Kombat, and Pokemon. Are you familiar at all with the Pokemon games? Have you ever played them when you were younger?
Nah. The only thing that came close is that Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And that was it. I played. But I know that they just announced the new Pokemon Snap.
Yes, I was actually going to talk about that a little bit after this tweet, but so yeah, I picked Pokemon as my third, and it's really hard for me to choose because I really love Sonic, I love Crash, I love Crash Bandicoot, I love Devil May Cry, I love Kirby and Donkey Kong. There's just so many choices, but you can only pick 3. To me, Pokemon has been there. I've played it ever since the very beginning in, I believe, 1999 or 1998 when Red and Blue first came out on the Game Boy. And I've been playing them ever since. I didn't play Generation 6 or 7 on the 3DS, but I've played every other one. I have the Switch one, Pokemon Shield version. I've actually was streaming that earlier today for like almost 4 hours. With the expansion DLC that just came out yesterday. I was having fun with that. You could check that on my Twitch channel. It'll be uploaded to my YouTube eventually. But yeah, I had fun with that, and I do play Pokemon Go. Pokemon Snap, I tried. I didn't care for it. But yeah, that's my story with Pokemon. So I've been around that forever.
You notice how easy to choose 1 and 2 is, but the third one's the hardest one to choose?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy. It's like, oh, yeah, definitely this one and definitely that one. Like Mario, definitely Mario's number 1, and it was pretty easy to choose Zelda 2, but 3 was kind of hard because, like you said, there were so much good options in there that it's like I was going. Like, God, I mean, I love Pikmin, and it's just so hard to choose that third one.
Well, personally, I think if Mario is not in your top three video games of all time, you should just not play video games. Period. Because without Mario, Mario, however you want to pronounce it,
Mario.
um, without him, we probably wouldn't have video games like what we have today.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I mean, uh, Nintendo saved the video game era.
And they disguised their video game consoles by calling them entertainment systems.
Yeah.
Because people wouldn't trust video games at the time because of the crash.
Yeah. And there was actually a crash before that too, but it was not as not as
Severe.
As, yeah, severe as the '83.
And yeah, so I almost put Sonic on there instead of Mortal Kombat, but I've been playing Mortal Kombat since I was 4 years old, and I'm 30 years old now. So that series has been with me for 26 years. I have played every single mainline Mortal Kombat game from 1 to 11. Have not missed a single one. The only games I missed were 2 of the spin-offs, which were not very good anyway, so I don't care that I missed those. Those were Special Forces in 2001 and Mythology Sub-Zero, if you remember how shit those games were.
Yeah. I was about to say, what was one of them? Because I know one of them it was more common, Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
But I forgot about Special Forces.
Yeah, that's the one that Ed Boon didn't make. And, yeah, so I figured, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Which Mortal Kombat out of the series is your least favorite? I'm just curious.
Probably Mortal Kombat 4. Because it was the first game in the series to go 3D. And, like, the graphics are just so blocky when it comes to the blood and stuff like that. It was their first try in 3D, so I gave them a pass. Mm-hmm. They did what they did, but... they had animalities in that game, and it just didn't look as good compared to the 2D sprites.
And it looked like they never went back to that. They just like, screw it, we're going back to the old look. Yeah, they never tried animalities again after Mortal Kombat 4. I wish they'd bring them back now because they could probably do it even better with the 2D. Now they went back to 2D fighting plane. But, yeah, Mortal Kombat 4 or Mortal Kombat Gold, if you played it on the Dreamcast, that was my least favorite. I got it for Dreamcast. I need to try it out.
I played it on the PS1 because my cousin had it. That's one Mortal Kombat I've actually never bought. My cousin had it, and he happened to live across the street from me at the time. So he let me borrow his games quite often, because we only lived across the street. So whenever I borrow something and I'm done playing it, I'll give it back to him, take something else. Play it, give it back to him, take something else. So that's how I first played it. And then I played Mortal Kombat Gold because I bought a Dreamcast in 2017. It was the 1999 model. I bought it from a retro mom and pop game store. Console was worth $300 at the time, right? Used on eBay and Amazon and whatnot. I bought it. Yeah, it was worth $300 used. That's what people were asking for on the internet at the time when I bought it. I saw it in the store and I'm like, how much? And he goes, $25. He told me $25. I knew what he had. He knew what he had. The guy knew what he had because he told me what it was.
Yeah.
But he just didn't know what it was worth, and I certainly wasn't going to tell him. He told me $25. I'm like, motherfucker, sold. And it was the 1999 model, and if you remember, that one is the one that plays burned games, where you can burn games on CDRs and play them.
I believe they all can do that.
No, only the 99 model. The 2000 and 2001 models that came out can't do that. Sega fixed the piracy, their piracy software with that, with the later models. But for the hell of it, I tried it out to see if it actually would play a burned game. So I took one of my mom's blank CDRs that she had because she at the time would still make blank CDs and play them in her radio. Um, so I took one of her CDs and I downloaded a program, and I'm not going to say what program that is. And I downloaded the game, and I honestly don't remember where I got the game from. And I burned it to the CDR, and I put it in my Dreamcast, and it actually does work.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing. I mean, I remember one time in the flea market up in Pennsylvania. It's an it's an outside flea market in Pennsylvania. Trying to remember where it is.
I know. There used to be a big flea market in East Stroudsburg. Would that be the one?
Oh God, could it be?
I used to go to that one all the time when I was a kid.
Was it huge? Where it's like a huge field full of them?
They had like the one in East Stroudsburg had a shitload of outside vendors, and they had a couple of vendors like under some kind of like building looking hut type thing. And they had food. They had outside food courts and stuff like that.
Could be Strasbourg.
I used to go to that one all the time when I was a kid. Like literally almost every weekend I was there.
Hold on, isn't Strasbourg like right beside Lehighton?
I'm not too sure. I know it's in eastern Pennsylvania. You know where the Poconos is, right? The Pocono Mountains.
Yeah, I used to live in the Poconos.
Yeah, that's where the Strasbourg flea market was, right in that area.
Okay. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. It's close by that highway. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. That was the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think they had a movie theater near there, too.
So, we were walking through, and my wife happened to look down in one of those boxes, and she found a Dreamcast, and I think she bought it for $15. I think it came with everything.
Yeah, I got lucky. Mine came with the VMU, so I didn't have to buy one of those either.
But recently, I would say, well, I wouldn't say recently, but sometime in the next 5 years, past 5 years, I picked up the Sega Dreamcast Sport Edition.
Yeah, that's the black one, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted the gold one. The gold one looked pretty cool.
Well, they sell shells now. Like, some people can have clear cases. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, they did that for a lot of other consoles, too.
Yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, everyone can 3D print stuff, or very crafty,
And going back to this tweet, for the final time, my number one pick, of course, is Mario. My favorite Mortal Kombat game, real quick. It's a tie between Mortal Kombat Deception, which was the 6th game in the series, and, of course, the current release, Mortal Kombat 11. Those are my top two Mortal Kombat favorites. But Mario, growing up, was the very first game I ever played. Back in the day, I started with the original Super Mario. Played almost every Mario game in the main, series. The only ones I skipped were the Galaxy games because I hated the Wii. Couldn't stand it with the motion controls and all that other shit. So I skipped the Galaxy games, and I know they're like cult classics right now. Like, people love the Galaxy games.
Yes.
I love right now 3D World, which I'm hoping that's like the last 3D, Wii U game that needs to come to the Switch.
And Pikmin.
And Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch, I think, is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I love Mario Odyssey. I wish they actually had some DLC, like expand it even.
Right?
A little bit.
Yeah, like the DLC they released for it was kind of lame.
Yeah, just to have the Luigi balloon deal. I mean, what's cool is even after you beat the game, it's not technically still over. There's still way more content after.
Right.
But I wish there was something even more past that. Like, was it even the darkest? I know there's the dark side of the moon, isn't it the darker side of the moon, and then probably the darkest side of the moon?
There was the dark side of the moon, which is the end of the game, and then
Yeah.
after you get 500 moons, there was the darker side of the moon, and then you had the
Okay.
Luigi's Balloon DLC thing that they did.
Okay. I knew at least that there was the darker side of the moon.
Yeah, I never actually finished Mario Odyssey. Like I beat the main game. I did a little bit of the darker side of the moon stuff. Went back and got some of the moons that you can unlock in those breakable crates that you couldn't break until after you beat the game. But I just never bothered to go back and actually get them all.
The one flaw, well, minus that Luigi deal, I wish they had slots, because I like to go back into and replay the game again. But I want to keep that one game. Like, all right, I finished this one.
Like the old game, like the older ones used to have, where you could
Yeah.
you could have different save files.
Yeah, save files.
I mean, you could kind of do that now if you have a different Nintendo Switch profile.
Yeah.
You can have one save file per profile. That's kind of a pain in the ass, though. They should have left the multiple save files.
Yeah.
Or you can do it by changing out the SD card and having the game installed on multiple SD cards. You can do it that way too. But again, that's a pain in the ass.
I mean, most of the games still has that same concept. It has save files. I mean, most of them does. The only ones that really doesn't is like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Those are the two biggest ones I know didn't.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I like
Even
replaying them.
even the Pokemon games, they still only have one save file. But again, if you have multiple accounts, you can have one file per account. But that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
To have to keep switching accounts to have a different save file.
Exactly. I mean, I don't like that select your person spot. The only reason I have a second person is that I use the Japan deal.
Right.
Where I'll get because I have the Nintendo subscription, so
Right.
I'll also get the Famicom games and the Super Famicom games.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Speaking of those games, I played Tetris Effect finally the other night for the first time after I bought it on Memorial Day. Can I just say that game is like sex for your eyes? That game looks so fucking gorgeous.
Oh, play on the VR. It's even better.
I can believe it.
I'm like you say, even just watch on TV. It's beautiful.
Yep. Absolutely wonderful game.
But
Tetris, I'm surprised wasn't on the fucking that pick 3 list. Tetris is a cult classic.
True. Granted, I agree, but there's some people that choose Tetris. Granted, but you know what? Okay. We should toss. You know what we should do? We should toss out the easy ones, like Mario, Zelda, and Sonic, and let's see what games we really can choose now would be the top ones, because I think those are the easy ones to choose, you know?
So the big 3 would be Sonic, Zelda, Mario. If you throw those out, what would you choose then? I would still go with Pokemon. I would still go with Mortal Kombat. And I think I would go with either Donkey Kong. I'd probably go with Donkey Kong or Kirby.
I have to go and find the list. Give me 2 seconds.
I could just send it to you on Skype if you need it.
Yeah, do that. It'd be easier.
Yeah, all right. Let me grab that for you real quick, because I just go right into my notifications and I just go right to where you commented on it, and I can pull it up really fast that way. Copy.
Because I think that'd be more interesting, because I mean, like I said, it was so easy to choose 1 and 2. It was only the third one that was really hard.
Yeah, see if you could see it now. It should have popped
Yeah, I
up.
see it now. Okay, out of these, oh gosh, and it's be hard to choose like number 1, 2, or 3 because a bunch of them I love. Like I love Metroid, Mega Man, Pikmin, God of War. I really like God of War recently. Castlevania. I like the early Castlevanias. I would have to give immediately third place. It's gotta be Doom because how long I had that.
Right.
I played that for years.
I only experienced Doom on the PS4 reboot series. I never played the originals back in the day.
I loved 1 and 2, and I even have, I think it was Final Doom or Ultimate Doom that was on the PC. Doom 64. I have Doom 64 on Nintendo 64, but I also got it now on the Switch, and it's a lot better since it's been ported over to the Switch. So easily, that's gotta be in the top 3 now. It's even hard now. God. God, now it's really hard. You know what? I'm gonna upgrade that to 1. Doom's number 1, and because all the memories, and then I'm gonna have to go with Pikmin and God of War.
So if you throw out the big 3 being Mario, Zelda, and Sonic, because those are the easiest choices to make.
Yeah.
I would still pick Pokemon. I would think would probably be my number 2. I would still pick Mortal Kombat. That would be my number 1. And it would be a toss-up between Mega Man, Kirby, or the Donkey Kong games. Only because I loved Donkey Kong Country. Growing up, I played those a lot, especially with my dad. I loved Tropical Freeze. Again, I skipped the one on the Wii because I hated that console.
The Wii one was really good as well.
Yeah, I watched a Let's Play of it on YouTube. That's how I enjoyed it. I love Kirby, but those games are too fucking easy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do love Kirby as well. But being in the top 3, no. I like playing the original one. So
I think my number 3, if I had to choose a series that's not Mario, Sonic, or Zelda, I think my number 3 would have to go to Mega Man.
That's a good choice. I definitely would. If I had to choose one, like, and trade one out, it would be Mega Man.
And if Tetris was on the list, I'd definitely put that on there too. That would probably actually beat Mega Man as my number 3. Or it might beat Pokemon as my number 2, to be honest.
I mean, Tetris is great. I mean, gosh, my mom used to play the original one on NES.
I have it.
And she would. I think the best one you could do is when the building will actually take off instead of the rocket. And I could never get that big of a rocket. But nowadays, I'm pretty competitive between her, and for a while I was kicking her ass in Tetris. But she's been playing the 2DS version while I've been playing the other versions, like the one on PS4.
You ever play Tetris 99 on the Switch, the Battle Royale Tetris?
I really like that one as well.
Yeah, I love it. I play that one a lot, especially every time they put out a new Maximus Cup and you can unlock the new skin and sound effects for it. But you know what game, an obscure game I really love? And I know you have this game. You know the game Clax?
Yes.
I love that fucking game. Me and my mom played the shit out of the NES version when I was a kid. And I actually have the Sega Genesis version right now, which is obviously not the one I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact in your gaming room tour video, you mentioned Clax.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact you have it. I fucking love that game.
Yeah, like you said, I got the NES version, and I got the Genesis version as well.
I mean, I have the NES version at my grandparents' house, but I have no idea if they know where the hell it is.
They're cheap, though. I mean, a lot of those Tengen games are real cheap.
Yeah, I looked it up one time. I almost bought it. It was like $9 on eBay the last time I looked it up. I almost bought it.
I almost would say just if you have a local game store, I would just pick it up there. Almost like I like to say about Pennsylvania. I mean, there's the big one up there. I believe it's called the Classic Game Junkie.
I might have heard of that store.
It's somewhere in Philadelphia.
I think I'm going to Philadelphia on Sunday.
Well, if you go, I believe it's just right outside of Philadelphia. It's a very good store. I highly suggest it.
I'll have to see. I'll have to look them up, see if they're open.
Oh, they'll be open. They stay. Oh, that's a good point.
With the COVID thing, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might be closed.
I mean, some of this. Oh yeah, it depends what state. God damn this fucking virus.
I mean, Pennsylvania, if they're like non-essential businesses are open right now, it doesn't mean that they wanted to go back to work. You know, they could have stayed closed voluntarily because they don't want to get sick. You know.
Yeah, I mean, most of the business down here are open. I mean, my local game store is open, the one I love going to, but they do supply masks and they want you to use hand sanitizer. I'm like, okay, I understand. I mean, I'm not gonna make a big stink out of that,
right?
But for how small a place, I can totally understand.
Yeah.
God damn this virus.
I know, right? This shit just needs to go away already. So I mentioned the top list, and I'm not trying to rip you off, Drew, I promise. But I figured, I'm winging it. I figured something we can do. So Casey, I got top 20 best platformers of all time as of February 6th, 2020. So the first game on the list, number 20, is Spelunky, released in 2008.
Huh?
The Spelunky, PS3, PC.
Oh, that's probably why I only have some PS3 games.
Spelunky, players travel through procedurally generated caves, making each playthrough completely unique. So it's a roguelike game. Initially released on PC, the game was celebrated for its robust, addictive gameplay. So that's number 20. I never really played Spelunky either, but I am familiar with it. Number 19 is Sonic Mania 2017.
Yes.
Love it. Think it actually should be higher on the list, to be honest.
It depends what's on the list. I mean, you say this is top 20, right?
Yeah, and this is only 19 out of 20, so...
So, I mean, think how many years we had platformers, so 19 might not be a bad spot.
Now, what do you think of this description of that this website offers for this game? After years of sustained Sonic the Hedgehog sequels, this back-to-classics platformer was hailed as a sparkling return to form for the Nippy Hedgehog.
Oh. Did you say Nippy?
That's what it says.
I guess it's better than it could sound.
So this list I pulled up, it's from the UK. It's from a website called independent.co.uk. So, Sonic Mania, number 19 on the list. I think it should be higher. Let's see what number 18 is. Number 18, Shovel Knight 2014.
Very great. A very good game.
Yeah, I agree.
I loved it.
I think it's right around where it should be, maybe a little bit higher. But I know there's definitely a lot of other games before it.
Probably the best indie game out there of all time right now.
And it took a lot of inspiration from classics like Mega Man and stuff like that, and DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woohoo! Focusing on a sprightly shovel-wielding medieval knight, this retro-style indie game wowed audiences in 2014. It has since spawned a number of successful follow-ups made by Yacht Club Games. Here's one you should be familiar with, Casey. Number 17 on the list, Pitfall from 1982.
Oh yeah, was out on the Atari. It's good. I mean, I wouldn't put that high. I wouldn't put it above those. Quite frankly, I would say it's actually be outside the 20 if you ask me, but it's still a good game.
So if this list was bigger, like a top 30, you would put it like 21 or up.
Yeah, definitely. And I still wouldn't put it in the top 30. It's
the only experience with Pitfall I ever had was the PlayStation remake.
I always enjoyed the original over the remakes. They're not the same. I mean, I can understand you try to evolve the game, but sometimes they just overdo it.
Pitfall 1982, one of the earliest platform games, this Atari 2600 release, proved hugely influential. Pitfall Harry is now forgotten. He is now a forgotten hero, who must make his way through a treacherous jungle environment. Made by Activision back in the day.
Yep. Now they're evil.
Now they're evil, exactly. They're assholes. I don't agree with this one on the list. Number 16, N++ from 2015. Another indie game.
I heard of it, but I never played it. I seen it on the eShop, either on the Wii U or on the Switch.
We'll put it this way. This game is not that well known that this website doesn't even have the publisher of the game listed like they did for the other ones. Fiendishly difficult in parts, this beloved platformer forces players to dodge, jump, climb, and bounce their way through smartly designed levels to collect gold coins. I don't think this should be on the top 20, to be honest, at all. I think there are much better games.
I probably would agree. I just need to see it.
I think if we don't see a Kirby game on this list, I'm going to call this list complete bullshit. Despite how easy they are, Kirby is still great. Great fun.
Yeah, I agree. Before we move on, which one's more evil? EA or Activision as of right now?
Probably EA for what they did to fucking Star Wars a couple years ago.
And Capcom's not too far off after.
Yeah, with the way they do their freaking releases, with constantly re-releasing the same game over and over again, like they promised they wouldn't do with Street Fighter V, and they did anyway. Fucking bastards. Number 15, I agree with this one. Donkey Kong 1981.
1981.
From the Atari.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah. This was...
Would that consider as a platformer?
I mean, yeah, because you still gotta, you're still, jumping over barrels and climbing up ladders. You know
what? I'm thinking more of side-scroller. Like, okay, yeah, it deserves to be up there. It's even the game itself. I mean, that goes between our arcade. It has so many versions of it.
I actually played this one last year, not too long ago. My brother goes to a church, and I went with them one time because we were going somewhere after, and they have an arcade machine there with a whole shitload of arcade games from like Pac-Man to Galaga and all that other stuff, and this was one of the games on there, so I sat there playing it for a while.
I know one thing. Playing it on the NES is a lot easier than playing it on the Atari. I mean, not Atari, on the arcade machine.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played it on the NES, but I had fun on the arcade machine. I at least beat the first 2 levels.
Well, if you have the Nintendo subscription, it's on there.
Oh, I'll have to check it out again then. I didn't realize that. The description for this one, a monkey throws barrels and a man must jump over them. Donkey Kong is the oh-so-simple arcade game that sowed the seeds of a franchise that would make Nintendo over 28 billion euros. Obviously, I don't know how much that is in American money, but I'm sure it's a hell of a lot.
Well, it'd be a hell of a lot more because they're euros.
Another game I don't particularly agree with on this list, Super Meat Boy from 2010.
I think I played a little bit, but...
I have too. It's another indie game. I just don't care for it as much. Like, honestly, when you think platformers, there should be like much better games on here. Like, fucking, even though Double Dragon's more of a brawler game, that's still a platformer too, because you still got to do some platforming in it.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's not... We haven't seen that yet on the list, and we're almost halfway through. We haven't seen a Kirby game. Sonic was higher than it definitely should have been, I think.
And it's just that one Sonic game, and I think Sonic 2, or to me, Sonic 2 is better. And some people love Sonic CD.
Yeah, I mean, I played all the Sonic games pretty much back in the day. Except for the Wii ones, again. You know, fuck the Wii.
Oh, yeah, the garbage one you will not mention.
In this vaguely gross but jeez, I'm sounding like you. In this vaguely gross but eminently entertaining platformer, I think they spelled that word wrong, that's why I couldn't pronounce it. You play as a cube called Meat Boy, who slides around trying to save his girlfriend called Bandage Girl. Yeah, I don't think this should be on the top 20.
I agree.
Another indie game. Jesus Christ.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with indie games. It's just...
they're just not as well remembered as a lot of other games that we may think should be on this list.
I mean, like, Shovel Knight's great, and it's an indie game.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to put down indie games, because there is a gem, you know, a good indie gem once in a while, in my opinion, but...
Yeah.
Again, when you think of other games like Donkey Kong Country and stuff like that that should maybe be on this list, now we've seen like, what, 4 or 5 indie games in the top, in the first half of this list. This one is number 13 from 2008. This one is Braid. This one is called Braid. Another one that came out on the 360, PS3, PC, made by Number None. Some company called Number None. Time is your ally in this prestige swaddled indie game. Players traverse the game's short but sweet story, armed with a handful of inventive abilities that let them manipulate the passage of time.
I never heard of it.
I have heard of it, never played it. Here's one. Specifically the 1989 release from the NES, I believe this is. Prince of Persia, number 12.
I guess that's a platformer. I mean, it's kind of... I played a little bit of it. It's got good graphics. It's okay.
The Prince of Persia games I remember playing were like the PS2 ones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play much of the series, but again, this is, I think, another one of those games AVGN might have reviewed, I believe, back in the day.
I think you're right. I think he did do one.
I still say Sonic Mania should definitely be above all of these, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I agree in that right now.
A couple of underwhelming sequels and the dismal Hollywood film adaptation have made it easy to forget just how impressive the first swashbuckling Prince of Persia game was, made by Ubisoft.
Let's move on.
Another indie game here. Another one you may not have heard of. You probably never played it, because I know I haven't. Number 11 is Celeste from 2018.
That sounds familiar.
This game was highly regarded as one of the best indie game. I think it won Indie Game of the Year last year, to be honest.
I heard of it.
It's one of those wall jumping platform games with spikes all over the place.
I don't like those.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on them either. It was made by some guy named Matt Makes Games. Showered with praise upon its release, Celeste lets people play as Madeline, a troubled girl who has to scale a perilous mountain. Where is Metroid on this list? Speaking of,
this list sucks.
So far it does. Holy shit. Wow, I picked a fucking stinker so far.
Well, that's alright. I mean, what number are we at now?
We're in the top 10 now. We're on number 10. Another indie game. Might have heard of this one, Limbo from 2010.
Limbo. Yeah, I heard of it. I think I got it for the PS3. I need to try it out. I heard it's really good.
It was one of the better indie games released on this list, that's for sure. This stellar indie game tells the story of a boy who travels through a sinister underworld to rescue his sister. Compelling and creepy, Limbo deftly balances platforming, horror, and fantasy. Made by Play Dead Games.
I think they made a couple other good games as well. So.
Thank God this is on the list. This is a breath of fresh air. Number 9 from 1988, Mega Man 2.
Oh, hands down, this should have been definitely on the list. This is the first Mega Man I played, and actually this is the one I grew up for years and years and years playing. And my brother could beat it. I can never get nowhere near Dr. Wily's castle.
I can only beat him with save states on the Legacy collections that they released recently.
Yeah.
I suck at Mega Man despite how much I love these games. Have you played?
Yeah.
Have you played all 11 of the original side scrollers or no?
No, I mean I have a bunch of them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is the most expensive on the NES, and I need to get 6. I don't think I got 7 that's on Super Nintendo, and
8 was on the PlayStation and I believe the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, I agree. And number 9
9 and 10 were on the PS3 and 360, and 11 just came out in 2018 in I believe October.
Yeah, and they were across all platforms.
I actually have all 11 of the original games, which is why I asked you that. I have Legacy Collection 1 and 2 that were re-released.
I got a bunch of those on the Legacy packs too.
Yeah, so I got Legacy Collection 1 and 2. Not Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, mind you. Just regular Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2. Which has 1 through 10 on 2 discs. And I have Mega Man 11, the standalone game that came out. Mm-hmm. So I have them all. Out of all of them, I think Mega Man 8 was probably my favorite. Because that was the only one I was actually able to beat.
I still gotta go with Mega Man 2. I mean, that means a ton to me.
The only reason I was only able to beat Mega Man 10 was because you could play as Bass, and he was kind of OP. But Mega Man 2, number 9. 1987's Mega Man didn't sell a lot of copies. Well, with that box art, Jesus, I wouldn't...
Yeah, it didn't until Mega Man 3 had the right box art.
When it was released, the sequel was a surprise hit and is now considered a classic of the genre. Made by Capcom, of course. Now we're getting into the good ones. I think I'd probably put this... You know what? I think I'd put Mega Man over this one, to be honest. Number 8, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island from 95.
I recently started to like that one. I like it. I've been enjoying these Yoshi games. Like I said before, I prefer Yoshi's Woolly World from the Wii U, more crafted world that's on the Switch.
Yeah, I finished Woolly World. I didn't finish Crafted World, but I love... Yoshi's my favorite video game character of all time, so... You put Yoshi in a game and I'm gonna fucking play it. I don't care what it is. This... Oh, go ahead.
I wish they would port that over, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
It'll probably get put on the Switch SNES Virtual Console eventually.
Oh, I'm at the Woolly World.
Oh, Woolly World. No, I don't think so. It's on the 3DS. That's probably...
think, Super Mario World 2 is on Nintendo's subscription right now.
I don't think it is. I know it's on the SNES Mini, but it's not. It's not on the actual. It's not on the Switch yet. This hugely enjoyable game sees the egg-throwing dinosaur Yoshi look after hapless baby Mario while navigating the perils of classic Mario environments. One thing I hated about that game was every time you got hit, and Mario's cry would just drive you nuts after a while.
I knew you were gonna say that. That's why everyone hates it. Baby Mario. How could it be Baby Mario when this is the game, the sequel to Super Mario World?
Well, it's the sequel in terms of number, but it's a prequel. It's actually the prequel to the Mario series, if you think about it.
Well, it's gotta be, because, I mean, he's a baby.
And then, the other ones, Yoshi's Island Advance, had Baby Wario, Baby Donkey Kong, and stuff in that one. And then they made then they had the Yoshi's Island DS. And then they had New Yoshi's Island on the 3DS, which was a good game. I liked that one.
Yes.
And then, I think my least favorite Yoshi game was Yoshi's Story. That game was too short.
I had it for the 64 and I couldn't get it. And that's before I played the other ones. So I kind of wish I could get it back. So, I mean... and we got it for cheap, but I wish I didn't sell it.
So number 7 is the original Castlevania from 1986.
Love it. I love Castlevania 1.
Did you by any chance watch the Castlevania Netflix animated series at all?
No.
I heard it was really good. Like, you gotta maybe check it out someday. It's violent as hell. It's bloody. It's great. It's on Netflix. I think it's only like 6 episodes, maybe 6 or 7 episodes, so it's pretty short.
I should definitely give it a shot.
But I played Castlevania on and off when I was younger. It's another series like I didn't hate, but I just couldn't get into it. But have you ever played the Bloodstained games yet? Ritual of the Night or Ritual of the Moon and Curse? What was the other one? The ones that just came out on PS4 and Xbox One, the Bloodstained games.
Wasn't it just 2? The one that was the 8-bit version? Or the 16-bit version? And was it 8-bit or 16-bit? I'm trying to remember.
They were 8-bit. They were 8-bit. They were just like Castlevania. It's called...
Yeah.
They released one of them was called Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. And the second one was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which was the bigger of the two.
I played the first one, the 8-bit one. I did not play the other one.
Yeah, if you really like Castlevania, you should definitely play the Bloodstained games, because they are literally, you play them and it's literally playing Castlevania, just under a different name and different characters.
Exactly, I agree.
So this one, Simon Belmont faces off with Count Dracula in this seminal and spooky adventure platformer. The game has recently been adapted as a series for Netflix, as I mentioned, made by Konami before they became assholes. This game, I think, should be a little higher on the list. This one here.
Okay.
I mean the one I'm going to talk about right now.
Oh.
Number 6. I think it should be a little higher. Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
I think at least top 5. I think it should have been at least number 4 or 5.
It depends. Like I said, I had to see what else, but like, I would move Sonic Mania all the way into the top 10.
Oh yeah, easily.
Move a lot of those other ones not even in the list.
Yeah, again, not to knock indie games, but some of those like Braid and Celeste maybe should have been on the list because it did win Indie Game of the Year last year, I'm pretty sure. But like Braid and Super Meat Boy, those shouldn't have been on the list.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen a Kirby game and we're 3/4 of the way through this list. Super Mario Odyssey, number 6, and the picture they used is when you could use Cappy to control the dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
Out of every image they could have put for this game, that's the one they went with. This slick, endlessly innovative 3D platformer was a big reason for the Nintendo Switch's quick success, a high point for the franchise. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because during 2017, first, the launch day, you had Breath of the Wild. So you had one big hit, and at the very end of and then you had a bunch of good games during that 2017 year. And then at the very end, like October, they had Mario Odyssey with another giant hit. So that's pretty much what cemented the Switch.
Then you also had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yes.
In there in April, and you had a couple other games to tie it over.
And Splatoon 2, I love that game.
Here we go, now we're talking. I wouldn't have picked this one. I would have picked the other one. I would not have picked this one. Although I could kind of see why. Number 5, the original Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991.
I would choose number 2.
That would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a bigger game. It's got more stages. It has his signature spin dash, which the first game didn't have.
Exactly.
The first game only had 6 stages. Six zones, but like 3 stages each. I would have picked Sonic 2 over Sonic 1, but again, Sonic 1, and the series had to start somewhere, so I can understand why.
Yeah.
Still, I think I would have put this at number 19 and put Mania at number 5. If we had the Switch Sonic titles.
I'd probably agree. I mean, I do like 1, but Mania was really good.
How many times did you rebuy Sonic the Hedgehog 1? Over all the re-releases that they've ever given that game.
Oh. Well, honestly, I bought it second time on the Switch. Actually, there's so many versions. I mean, they have it in a bunch of those combo sets.
Yep.
And listen, I have a bunch of those combo sets, like the Sega Genesis one, and I kind of got screwed because they sold the Sonic one on the eShop, and very shortly after that, they dropped the Sega Genesis collection, and they, like, mother,
Yep.
I'm like, so I was like, I got scammed.
So
I mean, it was only like $8, so I was like, okay, you scammed me out $8.
so let me tell you how many versions of this game I own. Okay.
Alright.
Sega Genesis version. I have that one. I have the. I used to have the Mega Collection version on the GameCube. I don't have it
Yeah.
anymore, but I did own that one. But I still have the Genesis one. I have it on Sonic Generations because it's an unlockable game
Yeah.
within that game on the PC and the 360. I own the PS3 port that Backbone Games did. I own it again on the 360. I own it again on Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the Xbox 360. I own it again in the the Sega Genesis Collection on Steam.
Hmm.
I own it again in the PS4 version of the Sega Genesis Collection. And I have at least one more version of it.
So, well, the thing is,
I own it like 8 different times.
well, the things is, it's a bunch of those are on the combo collections.
Yeah.
So I mean, they scammed us 2, 3 times with Sonic Mania, but that's literally just the same game over and over, just with a little.
Well, they added the Encore mode, which was nice. A
Yeah.
remixed version of the game.
Yeah, but while, like you're talking about that, here's one. There's Sonic Classics on the Genesis that I believe has at least 1 and 2 on there.
Oh, you mean
And,
Sonic Jam on the Saturn? Maybe is that the one you think of?
Well, I also got that one too, but no, this one is called Sonic Collections. I got the box. Oh, fuck. Yeah, let's see. It has 1, 2, and Doctor Robotnik Mean Bean Machine on it.
Or just reskinned Puyo Puyo.
Yes. And-
So yeah, I didn't know that came out on the Genesis. I didn't know they re-released it like that, like right away.
Oh yeah.
So description for this game: the whip it fast Sonic Sega created character to rival Nintendo's mustached plumber, and the game brought a frantic, colorful edge to the classic side-scrolling format. I would disagree with fast-paced and frantic, because outside of Green Hill Zone, the game was a fucking slugfest to get through.
Mm. Well, yeah, the first zones was definitely the fastest ones, but I still think they were pretty fast. Yeah, there were some points that you slowed down, but I agree that the first zone's the fastest.
Now, I don't agree with this next one on the list. I think it deserves to be on this list, but not this high. Little Big Planet 1 from 2008.
Yeah, I like Little Big Planet. It's a good game.
But do you think it should be in the top 5?
No.
Me neither. I do love the custom stage creation aspect of the game. I loved going back and seeing what kind of stages people could make, and what kind of stickers and character costumes people would make.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly the only reason I went back to play those games. And I believe now Dreams was made also by those same people, I think.
Actually, I just played a demo of it. That's okay.
I bought Dreams mainly for the custom creation stuff that I want to check out, because I've seen some pretty good stuff posted online.
Well, I just couldn't get it. Most of it, I tried the demo. I'm like, I find, I mean, I can understand why people would like it, but to me, I was like, eh.
So, for Little Big Planet, one of Sony's most prized original properties, this cute, here's this word again, amenity, enjoyable platformer, gave players the chance to create their own experience, as I mentioned, with a sea of user-generated content now available.
And it helped shape what Mario Maker 1 and 2.
Well, that and the ROM hack community had something to do with that. From Super Mario
true.
World. Speaking of, we still haven't seen Kirby. Where the fuck is Crash Bandicoot and Spyro?
I really don't like Spyro.
Really?
I tried that recently, and I did not like it. I just don't get it. I mean, I like to kind of go around and collecting stuff, but to me, it just wasn't that fun.
I'm surprised Banjo-Kazooie isn't on this list just for how popular that was back in the day.
True, good point.
Here's one that doesn't belong on this list.
Oh no.
Number 3, Mirror's Edge from 2008.
I don't recall it.
It's the game where you were doing like parkour and you were jumping from rooftops and stuff like that. Made by EA.
No.
And they had the worst, even worse sequel, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, in like 2013. Something like that. This platformer was a brilliantly original spin on the genre, combining first-person gameplay, idiosyncrastically. You wouldn't be able to say that word, Casey.
No.
I barely was able to say that word. Stylish art design and an engaging dystopian storyline. I played the first game. I thought it was good for what it was. Definitely does not deserve to be on this list.
I never heard of it before, so...
Here's one you definitely heard of. And this game probably should have been number 1. And I am really curious now to know what beat it. Number 2, Super Mario Bros. From 1985.
I would say it's got to be Super Mario Brothers 3. To me, that's the better one.
I agree. Personally, my favorite Mario game is Super Mario World. Again, because of the ROM hack fan base that's been around for over 15 years, recreating that game and making new games out of Super Mario World. And I just love going back and playing all those creations. And the original game is a blast. Personally, Super Mario World is my favorite. Super Mario 3 is definitely a damn good game. I did a full playthrough called Long Play of that game back in like 2014 on my YouTube channel. So anyone can go back through my YouTube and find that. I beat it in like 3.5 hours, not using any warp whistles, beating every stage. So that was pretty fun. Almost everything about this game is iconic, from its character to its level design to its music. What's more, it's still a blast to play. I agree.
Oh, I agree.
I think it should have been number 1. I am really curious to see what beat it.
Number 1, I mean,
I don't agree with this.
Uh-oh.
I don't agree with it. Go ahead, take your guess. Take a guess.
Is it Super Mario Brothers 3?
No.
Oh, then it's bullshit then. Yeah.
I think this is bullshit. I would say this definitely deserves to be on the list because of what it did for 3D gaming. Especially 3D platformers like what Sonic would become later on, and Crash Bandicoot. I'm sure you know what game I'm talking about now. It's one of the ones you don't like, Casey.
Mario 64?
Yes, sir. Number 1, Super Mario 64, 1996.
Oh, I can understand why a ton of people would love it. I mean, like you said, I should try it on I'll play it on the 2DS. I need to give it a shot. That'll probably change my opinion because it would have way better controls.
Well, if you play it on the original DS, it actually has worse controls than the N64 version because the DS didn't have a thumbstick like the 64 did, and that's what the movement was made for. Was made for a thumbstick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you play with the 2DS or the 3DS, then
you'll be all right. Yeah. But if you play it on a regular DS, like what it was released for, it actually has worse controls.
Exactly. That's a good point.
But I do like Mario 64. It actually was the first game I got with my 64. The N64 actually released in 1996 on my birthday, September 29th, 1996.
Damn.
So I actually got that on my birthday. I got the N64 and Super Mario 64 on launch day. I liked the game even back then. I never got all 120 stars to this day. I could probably do it now if I tried. But I like the game. It's certainly not my favorite Mario game. I think it's a great Mario game. It's certainly better than Sunshine, and Sunshine is more refined in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I like 64 more than that. You know.
Right now the thing is, people is nostalgic to the GameCube, so they're like, "Oh yeah, Sunshine was good." I'm like, no. Back in the day, back in 2001 or 2002 when it came out, not a lot of people liked it, and people forgot about that.
Now, my favorite 3D platformer, of course, is Super Mario Odyssey. If I had to pick a 3D Mario game, I would go with Odyssey as my favorite. Again, I skipped Galaxy because I hated the Wii, but I do know how those games are revered as classics.
Try it on the Wii U. Just play it on the Wii U. They're really good games.
Yeah, I don't have a Wii U anymore. I actually sold it last year.
Oh.
Once I got the Switch, I'm like, I'm not gonna play this fucking thing anymore.
You should. Wii U is still great. You still have a couple games. I mean, shoot, you still have the Wii library you could ever go to.
Yeah, but I just never liked the Wii, so I never played any of those games. And after games started coming out on the Switch, there was only 2 games on my Wii U library that I had on that. Well, 3 at the time with Mario Maker. But, that was Mario Maker, 3D World, and Yoshi's Woolly World. And I figured 3 games wasn't enough to keep the system for. And I traded it into GameStop with the couple of games that I just mentioned that I had. And I got $60 for it, so...
Oh, you got screwed with the Wii U as well?
Yeah, yep. And it was the special edition 32 gigabyte one, too.
Dude, when the Switch was about to come out, I had a broken Wii U. I mean, well, actually I had a broken HDMI port, but the system was working. I actually got it fixed, but the port wasn't working. But I had the black one as well. So, me, my brother-in-law, and my late wife, we were putting money towards the Switch. And then I was like, one day, we had the broken Wii U. I was like, screw it, let's sell this to GameStop, and I think I got over $115 in trade.
Well, you said that was before the Switch came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got rid of mine last year, when the Switch was already 2 years old. So, that's why I only got like $60 for it.
Exactly.
But, that was the list. I think the next time we do this, we can, I'll come up with a different list. We didn't see Kirby, we didn't see Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie wasn't on the list. I was kind of surprised about that. This list mostly sucked,
until the top 10.
The top 10 was good, but I still didn't agree with some of it. Um,
Yeah, like you said.
Even Zelda, there was no Zelda game on this list.
Well, Zelda. That's right. A bunch of the Zelda games weren't platformers. I mean, maybe you could say that for Ocarina of Time, probably, but a lot of it's not
And
really.
and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, those were platformers too. 3D platformers.
I think they're more adventures games, though. You know.
Yeah, but I think they're also considered platformers. I would have to check the genres on that. You could be right. But, I don't know. I just think maybe Zelda could have been on the list. You know?
I was okay for Zelda not being on the list. If this is like the best games ever, then that'd be a different story. But, like you said, Kirby's not on there. A bunch of these other games. While we hear like 5 or 6 indie games, I'm like,
Yeah, there's more than should have been on there.
yeah.
Crash Bandicoot wasn't on there. I think at least one of the Crash games. In my opinion, Crash 2 I think was the best of the three.
And
The original trilogy.
Sonic 2 should have been on the list.
I would have picked Sonic 2 over Sonic 1. Mania should have been much higher.
Sonic CD is a good one as well.
Maybe Sonic 3 and Knuckles when you combine the two games to make one.
Yeah. I still prefer 2 over them, but 3 and Sonic Knuckles is good as well.
Right, see, I'm the same way, and people think I'm nuts. Because Sonic 3 and Knuckles is technically 2 games. It's technically one game that they had to split in half.
Yeah,
Because they couldn't fit it all on one cartridge, and they still wanted to get Sonic 3 out for the holiday, for Christmas season that year. So they split the game in half. And,
exactly.
And because of that, they made the special cartridge with Sonic and Knuckles. And because it's technically 2 games that was originally supposed to be one game, they think because it's 2 games fused into one that it's better, that it's the best of the original Sonic trilogy, which I still say Sonic 2 is better.
I'd say if we had to choose between the 3, I'd say 2, 3 plus Sonic and Knuckles, then 1.
Yep, I would agree. Absolutely. But so, we went over some news tonight. We talked about the PS5. Do you play Xbox at all, or you just don't give a shit about Xbox? I've noticed that's like one console you don't have in your house.
No, that's not true. I got Xbox. I got the original right there.
Well, I know about that one, but I don't think you have the Xbox One in your house, right?
No, I got Xbox One. I just, ever since got the PS4, been enjoying it more. I mean, the Xbox One games, I got the Halo games. One of the biggest games I wanted to get was the Rare Replay. And
I actually played that one. It's alright for what it is.
And that's pretty much it. A bunch of the rest of the games I got were pretty much cross-platform. Yeah, shit. Looking, the only other one's Killer Instinct, and I barely played that.
I love Killer Instinct. It's so fun.
But, already, with having the PS4 for the last 2 months or so, I doubled the amount of games I have, more than double over the Xbox One games. But that I used pretty much all my stimulus check on it too.
So let me ask you a question then about this rumor, the Xbox Series S, which is going to be a lesser, like a lower end version of the new console if you don't want to go for the high end Series X.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's going to be a Series X version, which I hear may be $400 at launch, or maybe even $350. I'm hearing it's going to be 1080p and 1440p. But if you want the full Xbox, next gen experience, you're going to want the Series X. So what do you think about this Series S?
I think that's stupid. I mean, because what's the difference between the Xbox One X and this next one?
Better CPU power. That's probably about it.
Because at Xbox One X puts out 4K, while you're saying this Xbox One Series S is gonna only do 1080p.
1080. It's gonna go up to 1440, which is a step above 1080. That's gonna be the entry level. From what I'm hearing, it's gonna be the entry level to the next gen Xbox. Like if you can't afford the Series X, you can get the Series S.
If you ask me, honestly, they should just said screw it and have the Xbox One X. That was pretty much the next gen with how much jump it did,
Right. Yeah.
That should have been the next gen.
But even the Series X, it's going to have, the Series S is going to have the same processor as the Series X. Which, first of all, Series X is a stupid fucking name. Especially when you have Xbox One X. Then you're going to have Xbox Series X. It kind of sounds like they're doing what Nintendo did with the Wii and Wii U.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't quite catch that.
Shut up, Siri. I fucking hate when my phone triggers like that. It scares the shit out of me.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Shut up, you bitch! Dude, my phone is on the other side of the room. Get the fuck... Oh my god, that's fucking scary.
Oh gosh, because I got the PlayStation camera, every once in a while it thinks I'm saying PlayStation.
Oh god. It's like Alexa, every time someone says Alexa and the fucking thing will go off in the room.
Yeah, it'd be like I'll be watching something and for the volume will drop a little bit because it thinks you're saying something like I would tell it cancel and it wouldn't, and it just had to wait for the timer goes down.
So, you mentioned let's end with this because we're closing in on 3 hours. I think we did pretty good tonight. We're at 2:42 right now. You mentioned the Sega Game Gear Micro a little while ago, and I said we'd get into it, I guess, after the list, so we could end off with this. I tore this fucking thing apart in my video. I'm not sure if you watched that one or not. Which one was it that I tore this fucking thing apart? I think it was number 5 with the Sega, the whole Go Sega thing that I mentioned, that I briefly talked about.
I've been watching a couple of your videos recently on it. On the Game Corner.
Yeah, the Game Corner, that's what I do at my gaming news. I used to have a co-host before you, like I had mentioned in DMs earlier. So this is episode 41 we're on now. I just decided to use that name, just so we have a name for this thing for tonight at least. But yeah, with the Go Sega thing and the 60th anniversary, podcast episode 40, I tore the fucking micro apart. I think it's fucking retarded.
Yeah, it's way too small. I don't mind that they shrunk it down a little bit, but where it's the size of a VMU, I think that's retarded. That's what it looks like. It's the size of a Sega Dreamcast VMU. And
not only that, what's really stupid is how they split the games apart and they expect you to buy each one of them.
Yeah, and I think like $40, $45 a piece. I mean, where's the fucking keychain?
Right? Where's the fucking keychain? My thoughts exactly.
I'm like, you should have that thing just dangling on your keychain.
And 16 games across 4 micro fucking Game Gears. They didn't even pick very good games. Some of them, they're porting over some Japanese-only games, which is alright. but because they were only in Japan, I mean, we don't even know if we're going to get this thing. We probably will, but right now it's only going to be released in Japan. So I can understand why they picked some Japan-only games to put on these, but they didn't pick the best Sonic Game Gear game. In my opinion, that's Triple Trouble. And I'm honestly surprised Echo the Dolphin's not being put on that thing for the millionth time. That's another game that needs to fuck off, to be honest.
I like Echo the Dolphin, but I think I liked the first one the best. And then Junior was okay. And then that was it after for me.
And yeah, and then they have the nerve to sell you this thing for $45, give or take, a little bit, And to buy all 4 of them, it's $180 plus tax. And then if you want to import it, good God, how much you're going to pay in importing fees.
Oh, no. Yeah, no joke.
And then they have the balls to sell you a $70 fucking magnifier. If you get the bundled version, you'll get a $70 magnifier that if they made the thing bigger, you wouldn't need the fucking thing in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, I'm like...
They still could make a Sega Game Gear Mini smaller than the original Game Gear, but bigger than what they did.
Exactly. I would say maybe... I wouldn't mind if... The screen gotta be bigger, though. The thing on the...
At least give us a 3-inch fucking screen, and then you won't need the magnifier.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, it's just stupid. I think the screen is like 1 inch.
It's 1.5 inches.
And that's barely anything.
1.5 inches, dude. My fucking balls are bigger than that screen.
Well, combined? Oh, just one of them, you're saying?
Yeah. One ball would cover that screen. But I digress.
Someone should test that. Just put a ball against the screen and say, yep, my ball's bigger than the screen.
Buy one for Cronin. He'll be dumb enough to do it. Oh, we love you, Joe. Oh, man. So, yeah, that thing is fucking stupid. It's too small. I don't like the gimmick that they're pushing with it. I think you could buy the Sega Genesis Mini for a lot less money and get more games. Better games, too.
I agree. I mean, shoot, on the Sega Genesis Mini, it's going on sale a lot of times. Going down from 80 down to 50 a lot of times I see it.
How many games did they give us again for that? It was like 24 or 30 or something like that?
I'm not exactly sure, but they have a bunch of the usual suspects, but they added a couple that like
they gave us Mega Man: The Wily Wars, dude, and that's a game you'd never see.
And not only that, they gave us the Sega Tetris.
Yes, Sega. Yep. Wasn't that an illegal version too? They never had the rights to Tetris, right?
Yeah, that was like you said, it was unlicensed. Well, it's illegal version because Nintendo had the rights at the time.
If you want to know more about the story of Tetris, go watch the Gaming Historian's 1-hour documentary. That video is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, you know what the thing is, talking about that, did you hear there was supposed to be a movie about Tetris?
Yes, I actually knew about that like 5 years ago. And it never happened.
And I was at first, I'm like, what could it be? But when I heard about the history before the Game Historian did his video, but he did it so much better than... there's a channel called Play Value. They did a little quick video about it, but the Game Historian went in way better detail.
Oh yeah, I like the hand-drawn animations and stuff that he had done for that video. I can only imagine how much work was put into that one.
Oh yeah, I'm like, that's probably the longest episode he did.
Yeah, I think it was. The Super Mario 3 one was probably his second longest. That one was, I think, 47 minutes long.
like lately they've just been getting a little longer. I mean, nothing as long as the Tetris one.
The last one he released actually was less than 10 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he released it, I want to say 2 weeks ago.
I have to go back and see. I usually, when he puts it out, I watch it.
Let me see. I'll look it up right now and see which one it was. The last one. Load YouTube. Come on. Okay. Excuse me, I'm typing here. There it is. Gaming story in. 750,000 subs.
Oh, yeah.
His last video was a month ago. It was Crusader of Senti, Sega's Zelda clone. It was a month ago. It was 11.5 minutes long.
You know what? Yeah. I hadn't got the chance to see it yet. I definitely want to watch that.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Super Mario 3 he did 6 months ago. That was 50 minutes long. Tetris was an hour long. Then he did Awesome Possum, Tenjin's Field Mascot. That was about 21 minutes long. And then the last one he did, the Sega Zelda clone. That was 11.5 minutes long.
A bunch of, yeah. I highly suggest anyone to go watch his videos because it's amazing. That I got a lot of information from him.
Yeah, I love his videos, man. The Punch Out one was another good one. That was 48.5 minutes around there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like the Tetris one, though, I don't think he's ever going to make another one as good as that one.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean...
Tetris, 59.5 minutes. Could have squeezed out that extra 30 seconds and made it a perfect hour.
Well, the thing was, it had a big time... It had a crazy history. I mean... Man, I mean, it would still be a great game, but as great as the game it is, it has even great history behind it as well.
Yep, and I'm glad to own a part of that history, because I have the original Nintendo cartridge.
Did you know Tenjin actually came out with an unlicensed version?
Yeah, I know, and you have it.
Yeah, that's my most expensive one that's out of the Tenjin series. I got all of them, but I would say half are in docks and half are in loose right now.
So let me ask you a question. You live in Tornado Alley out in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of insurance to protect your games collection?
I should.
Because you easily have thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of video games, man, and I'd hate to see you fucking lose that collection. God forbid a tornado tears your fucking house apart, or your house catches fire and your fucking games burn up. That would suck.
Well, actually in tornadoes, seeing one is very rare, very rare.
Really? I always hear on the news there's always freaking at least one or two every year out there.
Well, the thing is, how old my dad was before he passed. He was like 65, and he only saw two.
I mean, I've only ever seen one in New Jersey, and that was enough for me.
But it's always in those, yeah, it does hit towns often, but I guarantee you, if I do have this insured, it'll be a bitch to keep it updated.
Yeah, I mean, I would just hate, like I said, any not just the tornado. I mean, any freak fucking force of nature, or like something happens and someone, something catches fire and your fucking house burns down or some shit. God forbid.
Yeah.
You don't want any of that to happen, but I mean,
I agree. I mean, like I said, I put 20 years in this, and I think the last 10 I really blew up and got crazy collecting.
Yeah, man. I would hate to see a collection like that fucking just evaporate and get fucking destroyed. Kind of like my Funko Pop collection, man. My Pop collection's worth over $5,000 right now. And if anything were to happen to these things, I would just be upset.
Well, my most expensive game I ever got. Actually, do you know who Pat the NES Punk is?
Of course. I watch him. Yep.
Well, I sent a video out. I sent a story out to him, and he did one. Is that I bought Panic Restaurants from the Second & Charles store in Pennsylvania, and they had it marked for $50, but the game at that time was fluctuating between $400 and $600.
Wow.
Yeah, and well, when I was driving home, I realized it said right on the label, it said on the price tag label, it said repro.
Oh, so it wasn't even the original cartridge.
Well, the thing was, I thought, oh fuck. So, but then I was looking at it, inspecting it. People had posted on Nintendo Age or on the Facebook, and people was like, you know what, that looks too good to be fake. And eventually, I had my buddy open it up, and I found out it was real.
Oh wow! So somebody like disguised the real game in a repro cartridge.
No, I think what happened was that either they didn't know what they have, or two, someone knew what they had, but they're like
didn't know what it was worth. Like with me with that Dreamcast I bought.
Yeah, like if they knew how much it was, but they wanted scummily just knock the price way down to get it cheap. But I just happened. Here's the story. I went into the Second Charles store in Easton, Pennsylvania. No, not Easton, in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. And I'm looking at a couple games in the case. And while I'm waiting for someone to come over, I peeked over. And if you see a crate of games, they'll let you look through them. And that's what I did. I asked to look at them. And it had a bunch of commons. And then I saw it. And I was like, no way, because the label was mint and everything.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I'll just take this one. I played it cool. I was like, I just gotta get out of the store with it before I notice anything. But yeah, I had my buddy open it. I knew immediately when I looked at it, I knew what the board's supposed to look like because I seen boards like this before. And he was like, no, this is fake. I'm like, dude, it says Nintendo. It like there's no wires. I mean, there was a website. I think it was like where you can go and inspect the board, and it was identical to it. So I had that for years, for about 4 or 5 years, and then I was barely playing it, and I always wanted to get one of these mini arcades like this one.
Right.
And this one has been modded to have over 800 arcade games. And that one cartridge paid for this.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, you know what? I'm more happy with this than just a game that I barely play.
Yeah.
Especially I didn't have to put a ton of money behind it, too.
Right. You know, I actually own a game on the NES that I don't know what the fuck it is. So I'm actually going to send you a picture of it. I gotta find it. You might know what it is, because, I don't know, for all I know, you might fucking have it. But I don't know what the fuck it is. It's one of those silver fucking bootleg looking cartridges with the freaking switch on the back of it.
Oh. Oh, I know what you're about to say. Is it weird looking? Has the Switch on the back. I think it's one of those color games. It's an unlicensed game.
Yeah, it's a silver cartridge. I want to find it. I'm going to send you a picture of it because I don't even know what the name of the fucking game is. I've never seen. Because I never had a cartridge look like this when I grew up.
Well, they're unlicensed games. They're not bootlegs. Because I can show you some right here. Is it like the ends look like that?
I haven't looked at it in a while. But it definitely doesn't look normal.
Does it look like that, kind of?
Actually, it is one of those.
Yeah, it's one of these from America Games. They're garbage.
Like, the cartridge is so fucking worn, like, I can't even read what the actual name of the game is.
Well, when you told me a Switch on a gray cart, I was like, hold on, are you talking about the Nintendo World Championship?
No, you kidding me? I would fucking suck my own dick if I had one of those. Uh-oh. Yeah, not that
like,
again. Okay.
You could just, you could just send that to me. You don't need that.
Motherfucker, if you get it, you can send it to me.
Well, I got a reproduction of one.
Yeah, I saw that one. I want the fucking legit fucking gold one.
I don't understand why the gold one's worth more when the gray one was actually at the competition.
Because the gold one, Nintendo Power only made 12 of them. And it's legit gold. Like, I think it's a 24 karat gold cartridge.
I hadn't heard about that, but I mean, I thought they just took old Zelda cartridge and...
No, you could tell a Zelda cartridge and you put it next to the World Championship cart. The NWC cart is very shiny. If you look at the if you go back and you look at the AVGN's video,
yeah,
that he did on that one, because you know the game that they smashed, the game that this, yeah, it was a Zelda cartridge. It was I guess an extra one that they had laying around.
Yeah.
Because remember, he made it look like the NWC, and he took a fucking hammer to it and smashed it.
Yeah.
And he probably made a bunch of people cry until he revealed at the end that he didn't actually smash it. You could tell how much shinier that is compared to a Zelda cartridge.
But the thing is, also if they didn't, I'm pretty
sure they said they used like legit 24 karat gold for that.
But no,
Could
when
be
you
wrong.
You watch the video, you see how the small the board
Mario
is.
Brothers combo cartridge. Here it is. This fucking ugly fucking thing. Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this one. I want to show you this fucking disgusting, putrid looking goddamn fucking busted fucking cartridge.
I like collecting these unlicensed games as well. I try to get them all, but there's a bunch of them that a couple of them are really expensive.
Well, see, the way I actually I got an NES again was my brother was dating this girl a couple years ago, and she brought her Nintendo over because she wanted to play it. You know, they wanted to play it, and then she left it over here because they hooked it up and it wouldn't work. And there's actually nothing wrong with it. The problem with the console is it has a loose the AV, not the AV cable, the power cable.
Yeah.
It's loose. Like, you gotta fuck with it to get it. You gotta fuck with it to get it to stay closed, to stay on. So she just actually gave it to me. She told me I could have it. I offered to give her $100 for it with all the games, and she just told me I could keep it.
Okay. Because I was about to say $100 for the NES. I was like, no, you don't do that. But if it came with a bunch of games, then that.
She gave me 2 controllers and like 20 games with it.
Okay, then that's different.
I told her, so I'll give you $100 for all that right now, because she didn't work. She didn't work. She has like some kind of anxiety. She had like some kind of social anxiety, where she has trouble like being out in public, and so she didn't work, and she needed money. She needed some money at the time. She just wanted to have some money on her. She had the Nintendo. I said, I'll give you $100 for that Nintendo, for that basket with the Nintendo and all those games. And she didn't take the money, and then her and my brother ended up breaking up about maybe 5 or 6 months later. And she never took the Nintendo home, and she just told him I could keep it. So, hey, I lucked out.
I mean, you offered. I mean, it's her fault saying no.
Yeah, so this is a game.
Right.
I'm going to send it to your Twitter because I don't have Skype on my phone. So
that's fine.
Yeah, I'll DM it to your Twitter. There we go. And then I'll show you the back of it anyways. So you can see it's got that switch in the back. Definitely one of these messed up unlicensed cartridges.
I got a bootleg. I found at that same store I was telling you about, I found a bootleg game that had 4 light gun games on it.
Right.
So I was like, that's funny. I got it. Let's see.
Like you can see the cover. I just can't read it, and it looks like it's upside down actually. Hold on. They did put the fucking. They did put the label upside down. They put the box art on the disc on the cartridge upside down. I literally just noticed that. Look at the top of the label where it says Comerica on it. It's upside down. That is
no. Actually, that's how it goes. That's how it is.
I know, but when you put the cartridge in the console and you're looking at it, it's up. The whole thing is upside down.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't read what this fucking game is. Yeah, now I can see it now that you said it's Firehawk, because now I'm reading it upside down. But yeah, this is the one I was talking about that's got the switch in the back. Yeah, isn't there like something with this fucking switch? Like if you play it on a certain setting, it won't work or something?
Yeah. I believe if it's a way to go around the lockout chip. I think the second one is only used if you have the top loader like I have.
I used to have a top loader when I was a kid, actually, but I don't know if you remember me telling you that when I was growing up, when I wanted the newer consoles and newer games and stuff, because we came from like a lower middle class family, like we didn't always have money, for me to get newer games and stuff. And when I wanted a new game, I had to trade in my old stuff to get the new stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah, I actually had a top loader back in the day, and I loved it.
Yeah, the top loaders are actually more reliable.
And they're region free too, so you could play Famicom games on that one. But yeah, I think we did all right tonight. Would you mind if we just used my Game Corner podcast name going forward, or would you want to come up with a new name?
I'm fine with that right now, unless we can figure a cooler name.
I mean, because I know, if you think about it, Joe started out of nowhere with, a certain somebody. I don't want to mention his name because I don't want him to think I'm talking shit about him. But and then he left, and then he started doing it with Jake and the other guy, and now the other guy don't do it no more. So And he didn't change the podcast name, so I figured I could just do the same thing.
I know who you're talking about. I had to think about it, but
yeah. I like you, Jay. I like him though. He's pretty cool with me.
I'm fine with the name. I mean, I was trying to think of a few names, but I was trying to cross-reference.
Because I know you don't care anything for Pokemon, but Game Corner is actually a Pokemon reference from the gambling areas that they actually took out of the games. That was called a Game Corner. So I actually took the name from that.
I'm okay with it.
So I figured maybe we could just use this name going forward.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we can try doing it live, or I'll be on camera and I could have you on screen.
Yeah.
And maybe have chat on screen to see if anybody's there. And then you could tag, I guess, the couple people. You mentioned a couple people last time, the other night, that said maybe they'd like to be on. And, maybe we could talk Drew and Frank or somebody into being on for a little while if they want. If they have some free time. But like I said, we probably won't do another one for... we'll see how I feel next week. Like I said, I was thinking maybe to do this every 2 weeks for now, but maybe we could do it every week, depending.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, because during the week when I'm if nothing's going on, I'm like...
Yeah, because I know you work, and then I try to keep keep my content going on my YouTube channel that I stream on Twitch and stuff. So that's why I figured maybe for now every 2 weeks, maybe we can do it every week. Like if you tell me you're free and I'm not doing anything, then we could do something.
Yeah.
Do the next episode.
We can see what kind of news comes out.
I mean, there's gaming news every day, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can collect a bunch of gaming news. Hopefully soon a freaking Nintendo Direct drops.
Right. Yeah, so that's where we stand now. Maybe we'll do the next one live. Don't know when it'll be. Maybe next week or the week after. Depends on family too, because I got some family stuff going on. I might be losing a very close friend of the family. Right now on life support, literally in the hospital. That's actually when I said I'm probably going to Philly on Sunday. That was why.
Yeah.
To visit at the hospital, because they might be pulling the plug, unfortunately, in the coming days.
That sucks.
So I don't know. We'll see what goes on. But the last person I did a show with, he also came to me too and asked me if I wanted to have someone on with him, with me. And at first I was just going to do it by myself. But then I decided, having someone else on is more fun. Could bounce off conversation with the other person. But then it was a pain in the ass. So I had to keep asking him when he can do it. Did he want to do it this day? Did he want to do it that day? And I just had to keep tabs with him, and he would never come to me after the fact. After he initially asked me if he can do it with me. So hopefully that won't be the same situation with you. If you're available at night, most of the time, I'm available certain nights of the week. So
definitely during the week, I'm pretty available. I mean, during the evening time. I mean, during the weekends, I spend time with the girlfriend. But,
right. That's what I figure. Like I said, Thursday night is my best night, but I know you got work and you got other things you got to do. Like you got that sleep study coming up. So.
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh. Then when I woke up, I was told it was not only it was in the morning, it's the pre-visit or the before visit. I'm like, I thought this was the sleep study. It's like, no, you have to visit first. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. So
when I got that and got done, I figured give you a holler so we can do this,
Yeah. I know you said this is something you'd like doing, so if you had fun tonight, I had a good time tonight, I think.
Yeah, I had a great time.
We did a little over 3 hours, but I think I'm going to call it a night here. let you get to bed because it's kind of getting late for you. It's going on midnight your time, so.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, Casey is Raw. Look him up on YouTube and on Twitter. On the name Casey is Raw. Casey does games pickup videos once in a while when he buys a handful of games from wherever he goes. Wherever he's doing a series on the game consoles that he has and some of his games and what they mean to him and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. And he also does live streams, on and off from his console. Plays, different stuff. Lately, a lot of VR games, so if that's something you may like, that's right up your alley. Give him a subscription. Give me a subscription if you like this. I got Let's Plays and streams I always upload. I'm going to be getting more back into that. I got gaming news with the Game Corner Pocket when I'm not doing this podcast. So, that being said, guys, for Casey is Raw, my name is The Rose, and until next time, we'll catch your ass down the road.